you try and test me, I'll burn this motherfucker down. Oh, you try and test me, I'll burn this motherfucker down. Oh, 'cause there ain't no fool and it won't be pushed around. Hey, I said cut that bitch. You know who I'm talking to. Cut that bitch. Bitch, I mean you. Cut that bitch and all your bitch friends too. Oh, I said cut that bitch and trust I tell you true. Woo! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the House of Auger show. I am your host, JT Auger, man of the house, and with me tonight are my co-hosts, Joel, Nicole, Sativa, and Mac. Everybody say hi.
Hello, everyone.
We have a very special guest tonight, a good friend of mine, and a active participant in the world of big pimping. Gee, are you with us?
He needs to be unmuted.
Oh, shit.
I just unmuted him, but he managed to remute himself.
Gee, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Outstanding. All right, real quick, before we get to starting the show, I just want to give a disclaimer for anybody who doesn't know. If this is your first time listening, this is not a family-friendly or work-friendly show. There's going to be a lot of cursing, a lot of subject material that's of an adult nature. So, listen to it at your own risk. Other than that, we like to start the show sometimes with a week in review, which is definitely something I'd like to do tonight. Given our guest, I'd love to get your perspective on this, G. The whole Nike thing, this Colin Kaepernick / Nike thing. So I have my own special views on this whole incident, but for those who don't know, which I can't imagine anybody doesn't by this point, Colin Kaepernick said, dude, from the NFL. What team was he on? Oh, we got some static going on.
Yeah, it's coming from Wiz.
Is it for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, buddy.
I'm sorry, bro. I got my headphones in. I don't know.
That might be...
It's the radio. I'm sorry. It's the radio. Okay. I turned the radio off. Duh.
All right. So for everybody who doesn't know, Colin Kaepernick's that NFL dude who fucking, I guess a few months back, what teams he play for?
49ers.
I'm not it. 49ers. Well, he did play for.
Did.
Formerly. So a few months back, I guess he sat down on the bench. I didn't even know this part. It all started when he sat down during the national anthem. I guess that's the first, and that pissed everybody off. So then he talked to some veteran. I think a veteran and a former NFL player. I'm not sure exactly who he talked to, but I heard he sat down with somebody and said, this is my issue and this is what I'm thinking. And people are kind of upset with what I did. What do you think I should do? And this guy said, well, kneeling is a sign of respect. So do that instead of sitting down on the bench. So he did that and everybody still flipped out. So that started the whole fucking, this feud between the NFL players and the NFL audience, fans who were like, listen, just play the fucking game. We don't want this bullshit that you're doing. And then people were mistaking what he was doing as being you're protesting against veterans. I don't know how that came about or how that got twisted into that. Like, that's not what he's doing. His whole issue is he's kneeling to protest what he feels is injustice from our judicial system, right? About police brutality against blacks and minorities. As far as I understand, that's what his issue is. He wants to bring that issue to light.
Is he going? I guess he's gone.
I'm here.
And now
Yeah,
Auger gets kicked every once in a while. For those of you that don't know this, yeah,
he did tell me this.
Kind of a recurring issue. His carrier sucks. So how appropriate that he be the host. And
He's the only one that gets kicked regularly too, and he's our host. And usually at the worst possible time.
it's always at the most inappropriate time.
It is. I swear it is. It's always at the worst time. So I forgot to say this to anybody listening. For whatever reason, my system kicks me off every 10 or 15 minutes, but usually it's not a big deal. Anyway, though, where'd I leave off?
You were just stating about what he was,
What he was really protesting about. Yeah, so like he's protesting about police brutality against blacks and minorities. He's not protesting against veterans or armed military or armed services.
It wasn't against the military, yeah.
Right. So he gets fired. Everybody thinks it's because of this kneeling bullshit. I don't think that's what it is. I think he got fired because he just wasn't the greatest of quarterbacks. From everything I've heard, at least. Again, I'm not a football fan, so I can't really speak like I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, he was like.
But everything I've heard, he's just middle of the road when it comes to quarterbacks.
The thing is, he started all this nonsense like after he was bumped down to second string, so he had already lost the starting job anyway.
Right. So that's right.
I never thought from that perspective. Do you think he was doing it to make it hard for NFL to fire him?
Yeah, like to put himself back in the spotlight. Like, oh shit, my fucking job's at risk. I better do something to make it so that I can't, maybe if I put myself in the spotlight and everybody's paying, all eyes are on me, then they can't get rid of me because it'll be too much of a, what do you call it? It'll
Scandal?
be too public. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that went through his head. I think he genuinely does believe in what he's doing. I mean, there's a picture of of him like with socks this was during practice, and he was wearing socks that had pigs with cop hats on them. He's also went to like a press conference wearing a Fidel Castro t-shirt. Like, the guy has...
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Like,
he's definitely got some views that I think are...
Yeah. Pretty misguided, to say the least.
Yeah, I definitely think they're misguided. Now,
let me jump in real quick. One thing, he last season, he could have still been on the 49ers. He opted out after the 2016 season. He had a player option, and he opted out of his contract to become a free agent. So he would have been on a team
that was
last
the other
year.
thing. He basically got pissed that he was not getting the starting job. So he was like, okay, well, I'm not going to play for you if you're not going to start me. And then no team was like, well, yeah, we're going to start you. Like, no one was going to do that.
So he rolled the dice and it
he's
came
just
up
not that
guys.
good.
House wins.
Exactly.
Right. All right. So here's the thing. I think this whole okay, to finish off the whole scenario, like, all right, so now he's out and about, and Nike, I guess, Nike picks him up, does the deal. They did a commercial, I guess. They did a magazine ad that everybody's fucking memeing about. Like, that thing went off like wildfire. And so now you got people pissed saying, well, fuck this. We're going to burn our Nike. You got something, you got like 2 or 3. Whoa. You got that static going on again. Is it the radio again? Yeah, you're cutting out. I can barely hear you, brother.
Oh man.
I think we lost you. Is he still here?
He's still here. He's not saying anything.
All right. Well, to finish off, I don't know if you can hear us. You might want to cut out and come back in. I'm not sure. But the whole Nike thing, with the ads and everybody's pissed off about that now. They're saying they're going to burn their Nike shit. They're cutting the Nike symbol off of their clothing. They're burning their shoes. Some idiot burned them while he was wearing them and fucked up his feet. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
that kind of reaction is pretty dumb. Like,
and
if you're going to
now-
burn products that you've already bought, like, you're kind of an idiot.
You're right. Like, you're not hurting Nike by doing that.
Yeah. You're just making yourself look dumb.
Mm-hmm. So where are we at with Wiz? Is he still on, or did he cut out?
Still on. Just silent.
His symbol is there. Oh
Nope.
no, now he's
He, I think, is restarting.
Okay. All right. So we're having some technical difficulties. Not a big deal. He'll come back. We'll figure it out. Now, did he play for any other team besides the 49ers?
no.
I've heard people argue that he wasn't a bad quarterback.
Well,
Now,
the thing is, he went to the Super Bowl one year.
Yeah.
okay, well that's good.
He lost
And
that
the
Super
NFC
Bowl,
Championship. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, he's.
Well, but to get to the Super Bowl is a big deal, isn't it? I mean, just because losing the Super Bowl is still, you were there.
When Jim Harbaugh was his coach in San Francisco, they had a decent offense with him, and Harbaugh used a lot of college offense stuff because Kaepernick's also a good runner. And the biggest thing is their defense was really, really good. And then Harbaugh left, and Kaepernick, when they got a new coach, he wasn't as good at being a pocket passer, a standard, type of NFL quarterback. And so his production fell off. But the last time he played, which he came in off the bench when their starting quarterback got hurt, he actually played better around league average, which a lot of teams would be happy with league average quarterback play. So the last significant playing time that he actually had decent stats and did fairly well. So it's not that he doesn't have the ability. But every team knows that if you hire Colin Kaepernick, he's going to kneel, and your fan base, a good portion of them, are going to throw a shit fit. So their question is it worth it to have somebody who may be decent enough, or should we just go and find somebody else?
We have Wiz back, by the way. And
Okay.
he needs to be unmuted once again.
All right.
Hello.
There we go.
Wiz, you should be unmuted.
Yeah, all right. So I'm listening.
Oh.
It's causing a lot of drama, but at the same time, it's like I feel like it's time for somebody to say something. Nobody bringing attention to it, but Colin Kaepernick right now, and he just happened to everybody be on his. It's like he's the Muhammad Ali of his time, but that's what they're making him out to be. Like all the critics are making him into something that he's probably even not. He's not probably as great as Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is way greater than Colin Kaepernick.
Oh fuck yeah!
I
There's
give you that,
no way
but
you can't compare the two.
That's just like when somebody died. Like if you kill Colin Kaepernick, y'all gonna make him a martyr. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. It's like, oh, he died for God.
Well, I don't think anybody's talking about killing him.
No, but I'm just saying. No, but I'm just giving an example. Like now that he's being crucified publicly, it's making it look like Nike wanted to get behind Muhammad Ali. They would have loved to sponsor Muhammad Ali. But that wasn't it. They couldn't sponsor Muhammad Ali to get on back somebody that's kind of in Muhammad Ali's position. Of course, they're gonna capitalize on the date. Really, Nike capitalizing off black looking like that.
Oh, you got that. Hold on a second, brother. You got that static and you're cutting out again.
I'm just gonna mute it. I'm going through this. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great now.
Okay, I'm going through these hills. I'm sorry, bro. I'm on my way. I'm on my way to the valley, going through this little back street to the valley.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I was saying,
have to deal with it.
But I was saying about Nike's profiting off black violence too. If you really think about it, like all the black people getting killed and shit, and now Nike sponsors Colin Kaepernick, and now niggas running to go buy Nikes. It's the same thing. They not, so it's like.
Right, that's the thing. Is like Nike's sponsor, like kind of backing him by using him in their ads, but it's not so much. I don't feel like. I feel.
All right, cut out.
Wow, we are having.
If I cut out again, I'm just gonna put it on mute. That's why I'm trying not to make it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on your end, G.
Like you said, it's probably because of his signal.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he thought that we were saying he cut out because we could actually hear him well right then. It was Josh that disappeared again.
Yeah, it was Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good for now, man.
Yeah.
I'm just keep hitting like mute when I'm not talking.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Anyway.
Yeah, we are having so many problems tonight. It has not been this bad in a long time.
Well, I was just saying, like, so what's the big deal about Nike back in Colin Kaepernick and people lighting their Nikes on fire? Ford back Colin Kaepernick on it too. I don't see nobody lighting their trucks on fire.
Wait. I don't. Is that real? Because I heard that was fake news that Ford didn't do it.
That's real, bro. You can Google that. So
Ford
I know, but these are white people own all these companies, though. I don't get it. Like, it's a white company.
Well, here's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. I feel like this capitalization on this. Number one, these companies don't give a fuck about this.
Exactly.
They don't give a fuck about the message. They just give a fuck about the fact that they're by backing somebody, they're taking a side, they're polarizing us, and they've turned this into a fucking race issue, which I think is bullshit. This wasn't supposed to be a race issue from the start. It's a hot topic, but I mean, and they're trying to make some money off of it, and that I think is wrong. I think both Nike's wrong for that, Ford is wrong for that, and Kaepernick's wrong for it because I feel like he doesn't give a shit about his message anymore either. So what are we really arguing about? Like, this was supposed to be about injustice in the judicial system, right? But nobody's talking about that anymore. We're talking about fucking Nike ads. We're talking about kneeling during the national anthem. Like, the message is
honestly,
buried.
bro, it's a black and white thing, really, because it doesn't matter what the issue is, really, the specific issue. It's the same people on both sides of the issue. You know what I'm saying? We could be about Kaepernick today. It could be about some other shit tomorrow. It could be, but it's a black and white thing. Like, that's what this making it out to be. Like, if you could read the comments on Instagram, you can read the comments on Facebook.
Making it that way, but it's not that way. It wasn't.
Yeah,
injustice is injustice is injustice. Like, that's the issue I have with this whole thing. Kaepernick. Let's talk about Kaepernick's background. The dude was given up for adoption by his mom and dad. He was picked up by an adoptive family, a white family who raised him in a good, wholesome home. They raised him right. They raised him good. They gave him love. They helped him be successful, right? And I don't mean that to be, and that's not a white-black thing. That's a family thing, right?
Yeah.
Being
but you still a nigga when you get pulled over, though. That's the whole thing. That's what you feel me? That's what it is. It's like you still a nigga when you get pulled over. It don't matter where you came from, what street you came down, what car you was driving. You know what I'm saying? They're still going to be more aggressive with me than they are with you. You know what I'm saying?
He's right.
So that's what it is. So it's not about. Well, he's not saying white people are bad. He never said that. He never said. No.
I'm not saying that he's saying white people are bad. What I'm saying is he's talking about an injustice that, in my opinion, the statistics don't back. And that's my issue. His message is based on faulty information or a faulty perspective. He's talking about,
in your opinion, because I know.
I mean, there was a Harvard study that proved this. That there was a Harvard study that came out 2 years ago that showed black people are no more likely to be killed by police than white people are.
But who did that study? White people,
Harvard,
or black people?
People at Harvard,
It's not a fucking white or black thing.
I'm just saying though, how many niggas at Harvard?
Races with them,
how many Harvard people who are doing studies do you think are out there going fucking blacks? Like, that's a stupid thing. That's not a smart thing. You know what I'm talking about? There's just not a whole lot of fucking people.
I'm just saying that
doctorates that are going fuck blacks.
People that are unarmed though. Unarmed and getting away with it.
But this isn't a white black thing. This is a.
You gotta catch them on camera dead bang. You gotta find the body camera footage what they lost. Magically just disappears.
You gotta check all that shit down. Body cams.
And then and then if you track all that shit down, you gotta get a judge that's gonna bang them, and you get 10, 15 years maybe.
Now here's the problem with that though. They're killing unarmed whites too. This is not a white versus black thing. This is authority versus civilians. Like, you and I are not all that different, but it's also a culture thing too. It's not a black white thing. There are the majority of police. If you're a police officer, imagine this for a second. if you're a police officer in a metropolitan area and the majority of people that you deal with who are, you know, responsible for the majority of crimes that you get called to deal with happen to be of a certain culture,
But this
is
is
that
what
not going to
happens.
make you biased?
But that's what happens when people police somewhere that they're not from, that they don't know nothing about the area. You don't know nothing about the people, the spirit of the people, or none of that. So you just come from way up in the valley somewhere, way up in the desert,
I see what you're saying.
high desert, and then you come down here and pull everybody over, take everybody to jail, and want to shoot everybody, and then go back. No, for real shit.
Right.
Then you go back up to Hesperia. You go back up to. You know what I'm saying? You go out there hunting deer and shit in the backyard. You go back there hunting deer, and then you use the same, and you come back, you go shoot some niggas when you come to work. It's like it's not. It don't happen literally like that, but it's kind of that's what it feels like to us. You know what I'm saying?
It's the lack of community policing, which used to be a big part of police forces, is that people were from their community, and you'll see where, and it works better in smaller towns than larger cities, but in smaller towns where they encourage their officers to be on foot and talk to people.
Yeah, you know the people you're policing. You know who lives at this house. You know the kids that play in the, play basketball here, and then you can spot something out of order. Like, okay, well, you guys not supposed to be here. What the fuck y'all?
Right, I don't know who you guys are.
Yeah, instead of just everybody just looks like a criminal. Everybody y'all look the same. Everybody.
You know what? You know what? That's a valid fucking point. That's a good point. You make a good point with that. And I'll agree to that, but here's the thing: do you see still that that's not so much about I just hate minorities? It's just, as much as it is I don't know where I'm at, so I'm making judgment calls that maybe are based on I don't know, better safe than sorry.
We're all a little racist. We already talked about this. We're all a little racist. Like it doesn't have to be hate involved. You know what I'm saying? Just racism and hate, I think, they go hand in hand, but they don't always mix together at the same time. It just be like we going racist. I go into a 7-Eleven and, I'm like looking at the Habibis and shit. Like, that's not I'm not like making fun of them. Like, I hate you guys. It was just funny. Like, 7-Eleven, welcome to 7. It was just funny. That's a little racist, but that's not, I don't hate them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's the difference, and I've said this before. The reason that's funny to you, this is why we get along too, you and I, is because we both understand that what makes that funny is the absurdity that somebody would hate somebody for something so silly or stupid as you wear a funny hat or you have a funny accent. Like, that's why it's funny. It's like I make fun of your accent not because I hate you, because I think it's funny that anybody would.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's and I think people miss that, and they don't understand. You've got way too many people who are way too like uptight and I think sensitive.
Sorry to cut you. I think black people now, like on the internet, are just a little too sensitive. Like, just people on the internet.
Everybody. It's not just black
people on the
that's
internet.
Everybody.
Period, but I see it like a lot of like it's just like somebody can say something to Serena Williams or whatever, and then it's just like a whole big thing. Like it's just. Like not that I don't know what happened between him and her or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, just people just ready to go to war over little ass stupid shit. Like,
well, that's it, and see, that's the thing is it feels like the media. That's the media doing that shit, man, trying to polarize us, make it all about white and black. It's not that way. It really isn't, unless you believe or you listen to the media and believe what they say all the time. Offline, correct. It's not that way in real life, but they pump it up like it is, and anybody paying attention who puts any value or investment in that believes it, and then they go out into the world with that mindset. They're like, oh shit, everything's race related.
It's kind of the same thing with
it's all racial
thing too. Like, you go to prison and they make you racist and shit. And you come out and you're like, damn, well, white people hate us, Mexicans hate us. And then you just teach your kids that. It's just like a cycle. That's the same shit goes. Just like the internet, with the free people, it's the same thing. Just like hate just keeps. I don't know. If you read the comments on Instagram, bro, it's just scary to me sometimes. Like if you just go on the shade room.
They tell you not to read comments sections.
Yeah, you go down the comments,
you gotta mentally prepare yourself for that.
Wow, like people are just tripping for nothing.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, it feels like I mean, from my perspective, it feels like it's become difficult to critique anyone who's a person of color, if you will, like whether you're Mexican or black or whatever, because the minute you do, they cry racism. Like, I can't just critique Obama, right, because of his policies. I can't say I don't like him. I didn't like him as a president because I thought his policies were shit, and have people go, oh, okay, got you. That makes sense.
No, they immediately go,
you're
racist,
a fucking racist. You didn't like him because he was black.
Nah, people didn't think John McCain was racist like that. We know the difference. It's just like some people. I'm sorry, I stutter sometimes when I'm.
No, that's all right. So do I, dude. I'm perma-fried. I did too many drugs.
All right, yeah. It's just sometimes you can tell the difference. Like it's the whole vibe, the feeling behind it. Like, oh, he shot him. What did he shoot him for? Like, like what did he pull him over for? He put him over for some tents, or he put him over. Then he said he smelled weed. You can't if you pull somebody over on camera and say you smell weed, you can't never really fight that in court. You can't. You might not even be smoking. If the officer just say you smell weed and then search your car, it's like little.
That's a fair point. Which is why I think it's a good idea that we make it a federal thing. Just legalize this shit already.
It's just like little laws like that are just. I feel like they're pointed at us sometimes, like the tent law. Like you can't ride with no tent.
See, this is why.
Pull you over.
This is why I think there's like this mass exodus. At least it seems to me that a lot of the minorities used to be very liberal. They used to be Democrats, and I think there seems to be a trend growing where they're jumping ship, and they're not exactly Democrats, because the Dems, liberals want more government, and that's what more government means. More laws, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like all these little shit laws. The more laws they have, the more options they have to fucking say you're wrong, you're against the law, you're going to jail. We don't want that. Like, just leave me alone, man. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, that's why it doesn't matter if you're black, white, purple, whatever. It should be us versus the fucking, that oppression.
Exactly. So do you think Nike backed Colin Kaepernick because they see like a liberal future coming? They see you think that's what they did? Because they wouldn't do it if they just seen everybody being more conservative, right?
I think they saw it. I think they did it because they saw the dollar coming.
Yeah,
I think they saw that this is a popular position, and they can make some money off of it. I think that's really all that they were thinking.
They do enough consumer research to know exactly who their target audience is going to be, not who they are, because a lot of everybody or most people love Nike, so you've got plenty of white people, older white people who are buying Nikes, but they're not going to be around for too much longer. So if you're trying to, they're getting a lot of competition from a lot of different companies. So if you want to get the urban black market and you want to try to get a bigger hold in it than what you've got, and maybe take away some of your losses, this is a brilliant PR move on their part to do that.
But who wants to wear Reebok?
Here's another thing. It's statistically, apparently,
who wants to wear Reebok?
Like
Adidas.
Black and Hispanic people are 30% more likely to spend their money on athletic wear compared to white people, and that's a pretty interesting stat. And so, I'm sure that played a role in Nike's decision to appeal to that demographic.
The majority of white people they don't treat blacks love shoes like they love chicken. Like, for real, they love shoes big time. They fucking love them. I'm serious, man. You see black people with they got nothing else but a fucking big ass closet filled with $300 shoes. They love shoes, man. I don't know what it is, but that's their thing. It's cool.
I'm in the mall now. Shit, I can't even argue with you.
I'm just saying, that's just the truth. And you think fucking who would know that better than a fucking shoe company? So guess what they did? They fucking targeted exactly the people who are going to spend that kind of money. White people don't spend that kind of money on fucking shoes.
All right, so what about this? I got something. So Colin Kaepernick, I think he's just using his First Amendment right? Freedom of speech. and about hold on. He's using his freedom. He's using his First Amendment right about white people that use their Second Amendment right.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Like are you saying he's using his First Amendment to talk about the Second Amendment?
I guess because if you think about it, like he's just expressing himself about, and then you guys defend your Second Amendment so hard, like yeah, he just talking. He didn't shoot nobody. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? He didn't hurt nobody. He didn't
have a problem.
He didn't like call nobody a bitch.
No, you're right. He has.
Like he didn't do none of that. He just took a nail, bro.
That would have been fucking hilarious if he'd have just waited till the end of the national anthem and then just yelled out, "Bitch!"
Yeah, he didn't do that.
Oh man, that would have just left us all going, "What was that about?" No, but here's the thing, though. Like, I don't have a problem with his free speech, but you can't complain when you do that shit. There's bylaws with the NFL where you're supposed to fucking stand for the national anthem, right? So you're getting paid. That's your job. If you're a quarterback or you're on the team, you have to follow those rules. The same way I have to follow fucking all the rules at the job I'm at. If I work in an office and they tell me I have to wear a certain thing, I can't go fuck off. I'm wearing this to protest fucking Pop-Tarts and have them be like, well, that's, oh, okay. I guess that's okay then, since it's for a political protest. I'm like, there's, injustice with the Pop-Tarts. They don't give a fuck. Fuck you and your Pop-Tarts. These are the rules while you're on the job. You fucking, can you imagine if you were in a conference meeting, with everybody and your boss, and they're talking about TPS reports, and you fucking stand up from the table and you go in the corner and you raise your fist and just stand there silent? Like, your boss is going to go, Jennings, what are you doing? Like, I'm doing this as a protest against the injustices done by the police against minorities.
You know what Nike should do? Nike should just drop all the exclusive releases and just piss everybody off that doesn't like them. Like all the old Jordans, all the old flies, man, just consistently drop.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
You can't do it. I can't protest shit in the conference room and expect to keep my job, right? Like, you can do it. You can. But
that's part of what we were talking about. It's like, it's kind of like, you blacks just need to be in your place. Shut up and do your job. Like, like the lady was telling LeBron. But the NFL is black, bro. We got a couple white boys that do their shit, but NFL is black, so. When it's kind of like when you talk to LeBron, like, you're just an athlete, shut up and play ball, shut up and dribble. It's just not just Colin Kaepernick. It's like the bigger picture. It's just
that, to be fair, she also told the Dixie Chicks, which is an all-white group, to shut up and sing. So that wasn't really a race thing.
Okay, I didn't know that. See, but I'm just saying. But when you tell us, like I said, we might just be sensitive. Like I said before, we might just be a little sensitive.
And that's understandable. But here's. Go ahead, man.
When it's consistent, it's just like, damn, somebody had to say something. He just bringing light to the situation.
Well,
but now it's about race. Now it's about the military. Now it's about,
that's
Donald Trump is involved.
I feel like I'm not going to knock him for using his free speech, and I'm not going to even knock him for trying to take advantage of the clout he has as from being a public figure. Like, he's kind of got a celebrity status. He's trying to use that to bring light to a message, but he chose the wrong time. He chose the wrong place. He chose the wrong way to do it. Like, if you really cared about your message, then wouldn't you want to do the optimal things to make sure that message gets heard? I think if he had pulled a press, he can call a press conference. I'm fucking Colin Kaepernick. I'm the,
but nobody would listen. Nobody would hear. Nobody. Yeah, I wouldn't tune into that shit. I got other shit to do. I'm not listening to that shit. That's not important to me. So you know what I'm saying? But when you do it something like that, you got all the white people attention. Now they see you. Oh shit, he got us fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
here's where he
did go about it the wrong way. I think a little bit, but I mean, it's too late now.
What he didn't get is that and I appreciate that he listened to the veteran, and he's the one who told him that kneeling is a sign of respect. Thing is, though, he didn't look at it from a marketing perspective. He's trying to market the idea.
Oh, it was a horrible business move. Horrible.
Right?
Horrible.
Right?
When it
Like,
when it turns sour, like if a company puts out an ad that gets horrible reactions from people, they pull the
Take the
ad.
ad down.
But he didn't, and the marketing turned against him, and so he lost the message, and the message got hijacked because of how people felt about what he was doing instead of why he was doing it. And by by him continuing to do it, it just kept making it worse and worse and worse. And that's where he made his mistake. Because I actually did listen to his press conference that he gave about why, which was he was very good in what he said. And even the reporting on it was actually shit. I had to actually listen to the whole fucking thing because when they broke it down and wrote up an article on it, it didn't give you half of what he was saying. And that's a big problem, you know.
Yeah, I fucking hate
even
our
people
media
who
keeps
were
us at each other, man.
yeah, even people who were, and this is ESPN, who was very, in favor of what he was doing. Their written articles were shit, so you had to listen to his press conference to really get the full impact of what he was saying. But again, it's all lost because the marketing was bad and it didn't turn out right in the right way. And he doubled down on it, and then everything just went to shit.
What about, okay, if it's just a sport, just shut up and play. Why put any politics in sports at all? Why just don't take that whole national anthem out?
Oh God, I wish they would take the military part out. The military should stop spending millions of dollars.
It's like propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You should just let it be a sport.
They should have. They should have.
I'm torn on that because
they should have done what they did before. I think it was before 2006. The players didn't come out for the national anthem. Well, we've had the national anthem for games in sporting events in the United States for a long, long time.
That would be even better. Keep the national anthem, but keep the players in the locker room.
Right.
Keep everybody in the locker room.
Yeah, but
they
now
just do it like
that. Now it's too late, though.
Now it's everybody is already watching.
You know what? I'd be cool with that. That would be. I think they should go back to that and just that ends it, right?
They can't. They floated that idea in the off season, and the players were like, and the players were like, fuck that. And so they're like, okay, we're not going to do that.
Because now it's an issue. Now it's an issue on the table. Now we feel like y'all trying to punch us. Now it's, it's all the testosterone in the room. That's
right, exactly.
See, right. You got pride involved and shit.
It's brinksmanship at this point.
I think, I don't know. It's stupid because the real message is lost, and instead now it's just got us at each other. When this should
lost to who? Who lost it? I didn't lose it. That's what I'm saying. See, that's the blurred line. It's like everybody who's I can only speak for myself though.
Right.
But I feel like I know what he's talking about because I see it day to day. Like I hear about it all the time. Like and it's real. And I feel like people don't know it's real. A lot of people just live in places where they don't know, they don't care, they just don't see it. And
all right, well, you know what? That's a great segue. Let's deal with
something
that.
you don't have to see on your daily, but I have to hear about it. I heard with the outside by the police, got pulled over and went to jail for nothing. So.
Well, let's get into that a little bit. Let's start off. So we did our weekend review. We talked
I'm not
about
saying that everybody get put over innocent. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it does happen.
I think most people who get pulled over, or rather most people who get put to jail, I think, we're not putting a bunch of people in jail who didn't do anything, right? Like, there's not
I don't know. They do in Florida.
What are you talking about?
There was a officer that I think they just got in trouble down in, I don't know if it was Miami, but it was in Florida. That they were just saying arrest any black people for there were burglaries that happened around there. They were just saying just any black people that you guys arrest, pin the burglaries on them, and that's how they had so many convictions with the burglaries over there. And then as soon as they fired that police chief,
the fuck?
Their burglaries are down to like their burglaries are down to like 10%, 20% there. And while he was there, it was like 90% conviction rate of the burglaries. And
so
some of his officers were telling on them he was telling the officers just arrest black people for the burglary, just whatever. You catch them walking over here, just arrest them, pin a burglary on them.
What the fuck?
Google it, bro. You Google it right now.
Messed up.
That is messed up. I hadn't heard about this, so I can't
Yeah,
make a comment.
so it does happen.
I'm not going to say. Here's the thing. I'm not going to say that individuals aren't capable of racism, right? Like, definitely, there are people who are
that's
racist.
When it becomes systematic, no? When it's somebody in the police.
No. It's systemic. It's systematic or systemic institutionalized racism. Like, that's hard to. My issue with that is show me the law. Like, I can't. If you just say institutionalized racism, you're just chasing a ghost. Like, you can't. What does that mean?
How about my lawyer told me
that
that
you got to show me the laws.
For pimping because I was black. I got it in my paperwork. I could send you a snapshot of it when I get to it.
Well, you know what? Let's get in on that. So let's talk about how did you get involved? Like, how'd you get into pimping? Now, there's a whole world. You and I shared some history and some time together, so I got to see some of this firsthand. I want to talk about this, but first I want to say, like, I want you to understand the majority of my audience who are listening now and who are listening later.
Majority of people in the world. Idea.
Right. We are, as the pimp community calls us, squares. Right?
Yes, sir.
And so I want you to treat this as though I'm the ambassador for Squaresville, and you're trying to de-square, you're trying to round us out. See what I did there? And so now I want you to kind of give us an understanding. How'd you get into it, and tell us what it is?
Well, I got into it in 2011. One of my boys, rest in peace now. I was going to school in Hollywood. I was going to LA recording school, and I was waiting on my financial aid check to come back. But me and my dad, we had the same name. So anyway, long story short, when he signed for my loan, the check came to him. He cashed the check. I didn't see no money from the loan.
Ooh, so you got robbed by your own father?
Yeah, he ain't shit. He better now, but he wasn't shit back then. Anyway, but he started a business, and I remember asking him, like, "Hey, Pop, can I get some money so I can I need to buy some shoes." I had some like whooped ass looking shoes on. I had a car. I always had a car, but I didn't have no gas and shit to get back and forth to work. I just didn't, I didn't want to ask my mom every day. That's just like I'm going to school. I'm supposed to get this check. Where's my money? She's like, nah, but I can send you $100. I'm like, all right, so send 100. As soon as he sent the 100, I cut him off. I started talking to him. So I was, I didn't have no money like that. And then my boy, he's like, shit, you want to make some money? I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. All you gotta do is drive me. So all you gotta do is drive me. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna just drive you. We went to this street called Lancashire in the Valley. And he had this young little white girl in the back. She was probably like 21, 20, pretty young thing. You know? And her name was, I'm not gonna say her name, but yeah, she was in the back seat, she was fucking with one of my other boys. She wasn't supposed to be in the car with us. She was out of practice. So anyways, make a long story short, she came back in the car with like $800. We dropped her off for a couple hours, maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours. She came back in the car with like
$800 in 3 hours.
Yep, like all 20s and 10s.
God damn.
Maybe like $100 bill or something. Bill, it's like something like that.
Right.
And I was like, God damn. He gave me like $40 in gas and bought me a hat. And I was like, shit, I'll take you every day. Let's go. And then shit, I stopped going to class. And I ended up talking to this white girl. She was taller than me. She was 6'1". I'm 5'8". She like 6. On Facebook, her name was Barbie Bentley. I never forget her name. Barbie Bentley on Facebook. And then we started talking, and all my boys was trying to talk to her, trying to get her. But I just talked to her on some regular shit, like, like shit. She was telling me about her situation, and I was telling her about mine, and she was like, shit, we might as well link up and do something. And from there, it was just history. She stayed for like a week or two, but after that, I had a couple dollars and shit, I just kept going.
So you got a taste for it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Being able to buy whatever you want in one day. Like, it's not a bill I can't pay in one day.
Damn. Now
I'm in the mall now. I just bought some $20 Nikes. I'm in the Forever 21 right now, walking behind her on the phone.
Now, one of the things I remember was that you're able to call them bitches, and that's just it's not even an insult. Like they
not
don't
an
take it as
offensive
an
word.
insult.
It's not
Right.
no, that's what I'm saying. It's not like I don't say it with the same meaning behind it as you say it. Or
Right.
I don't even say it like
and
I
they don't
used
take
to
it that
like
way.
that. Like I don't even say it like that. But yeah, if I had like a new bitch, just so does she know that you're not her boyfriend? You know what I'm saying? We're not doing none of this holding
Is
hands.
that why you do it? You say you
It's
you
part
use
of
the
that.
term
That's part
bitch
of
to
it.
kind
And
of
sometimes it
keep
just
a
that's how
distance.
you just feeling real pimping sometimes and not. But you know, not everybody talks like that. Like you know, I don't talk like that anymore. But I used to when I was young and active and feeling like you know, that's how I used to
Right.
be. But
I just
I
remember
don't do that
I
no
remember
more.
finding that out and then yelling out the car window, "Hey bitches!"
You know, it's just pimp language. It's not like it's not offensive if I call you a bitch. It's not like I'm looking for you low down dirty bitch like that. It's just like, hey bitch, like you little sexy bitch. Like I could, you know, it doesn't. That's my bitch. So, you know, it's different. Like
Now
my bitch. You know what I'm saying?
there's a whole right. Now there's a whole lingo to this. Like for example, when one pimp teaches another pimp some things, you call that going to church.
Or we having church. Like it's not really.
Right.
We could all just be talking. We could just talk about the game. We don't gotta be teaching each other. We could be talking about the game. Like we just churching. We congregating. Like we were at church. You know, we churching.
Right. Okay.
You
All
know
right.
what I'm saying?
I always found that interesting. And there's kind of a
It's a lot of
honorable.
misconceptions about the game, though, bro. Like they think
Well,
that
let's
we be
talk about
forcing these
what are these.
girls to do stuff, and you know, I mean, there's an exception to everything. But as far as like real pimps and how we look at each other and how we, uh, you know, say who's the best pimp and who ain't pimping, if you gotta force a woman to do anything, you know what I'm saying, you ain't pimping. You know what I'm saying? She should be wanting to do it for you. She should be wanting to do it for both of you guys. You know what I'm saying? So as far as you
All
making
right.
her go out and do something, that ain't pimping. Because if I find out you making her do anything, you know what I'm saying? We gonna bring it to the table. We gonna church. We got 5 pimps in the room. We heard you. We got a saying. It's by choice, not force. You know what I'm saying? So if you forcing somebody to do something, you're not really pimping because you gotta pimp with your
That's
mind, not
interesting
with your hands. You know what I'm saying? Pimp with your hands behind your back.
Okay. Right. There's a term that I remember you using called gorilla pimp, and that's the guy who's beating on his girl.
Yeah, and we call that not pimping, but yeah, gorilla pimp.
Right. So I think that's one misconception. I think most people view pimping as something that requires you to force girls
because
to do things.
they only hear about pimping from people who write articles. They're not hearing about pimp from that's coming
From
along
pimps.
with it. You didn't? Yeah, exactly. Did you see me beat up anybody?
No, that's exactly. I remember watching you work and thinking, wow, this ain't nothing like I had ever heard or seen or
exactly.
You know, this
we buying,
it was
we eating big nice meals, smoking when we want to. Like really, it's about two people that really who society don't give a fuck about anyway. Shit, let's go get some money. Let's go up in the mall and buy something. Shit, they're not gonna hire us anyway. You might got a tattoo on your face. You might got a felony. But you could come out here and get some money. If you got kids, you could take your kids to Disneyland. You know what I'm saying? Like you could still be productive. I'm out here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not out here hurting nobody. I ain't forcing nobody to do nothing. Shit, I spend a lot of money. I'm good for the economy. Shit.
Well, that's one thing I remember from my time with you. For those listening, I I was friends with Gee before I knew that he was in the game, and then when I found out he was in the game, for a while there I was driving, and I learned some things while I was doing that. And you had like 2 or 3 girls at the time. You had 2 and then 3.
Yeah.
And one of them, I remember asking one because I didn't know shit, and I was just watching all of this with eyes wide open, going, "Wow." And I remember one girl, like your bottom bitch, I guess. I was talking to her and asking her like, how'd you get into this? Like, what?
Auger's gone.
Did somebody say something?
No, you cut out for about 5-10 seconds.
Oh, I did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where'd I leave off?
You asked her why she did it?
Yeah, so I was asking her like, how'd this come out? How did you end up doing this? And she told this story about how she had some girlfriends and they'd asked her to drive them to where, to do this stuff.
Who was this? The Asian?
No, this is your other girl, the one
light skin?
Yeah, light skin. Not the fat bitch.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah. You remember her. I don't know if she's still with you or not.
Yeah, see, I just talked to her.
What'd you say? You fucked that up?
No, I just talked to her not too long ago. She just
okay.
reached out to me. She wants to come back over here, but I'm not ready.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the history is there, but I just remember her story. She said she drove her girlfriends to do this stuff, and one night some dude said, "Well, how much for you?" And she was like, "Oh no, I'm just driving." And he goes, "Well, I'll give you this much." And she was like, "Say what?" And all I got to do is this. She was like, "Well, shit, all right, yeah." And it was her choice, and I remember tripping out about that because.
So I remember. So what? That's about it. Let's talk about the unjust law. That you say you don't see where's the laws. So what about her choosing you by you being her choice? She wants to come mess with you, and then they send you to jail forever, saying that you human trafficked her. Oh, because you got in an argument.
Right. Now we're talking about
you might have gotten an argument with her or something. You might got a new bitch that want to come. A new prostitute.
Well, hold on. You know what? I want to get to that. I definitely want to get to that. But let's hold off on that just for a second.
All right.
I want to just talk about.
I want to get into it. You know.
I know you do. I know. We got a lot. We got a while. So we're gonna get
left.
there. Oh shit, dude. How you gonna?
I'm in the mall, but I'm gonna get back to the car in a little bit.
All right.
That should be good.
All right. Well, if you cut out, we'll talk about other stuff. But just come back to us when you can. So that's the thing, is that a lot of people tend to believe that all these girls get forced into this, that they get manipulated. I think a lot of the shows and a lot of the media shows it as though like they get. Am I still there?
Yeah,
you're good.
Oh, okay. The media shows these girls as though like they get drugged up and they get they get fed these drugs that make them all loopy and they don't know what's going on, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess I'll just suck a dick, and then like so that's the impression I think that a lot of people have. Now,
yes, I mean, I'm sure those cases do happen, but
right.
As far as that, I know that's just some girl that probably just didn't graduate from high school, didn't go to college. Shit, she was fucking guys for free anyway. Yeah, she was fucking guys for free anyway. Probably got daddy issues, whatever. It's real shit. Like, but you can,
right.
You run into somebody like me, and shit. And I look at it like I'm changing her life. I'm doing, she's changing mine because she obviously not doing something right. That's what the pimp is for. Like I'm experienced. She might be new to this. I've been doing this. I know what to do. I know what to take you. I know, So let's do it together. It's not like I just get all the. It's not like I just get all the benefits and everything from it. It's not like even if I control the money, even if I'm the one controlling the money, shit. As soon as she asks me for something, I buy the shit anyway. So there's no difference. Sometimes I gotta tell her no because that's what I'm here for. Shit, if she kept all the money like she was doing before, she didn't have nothing before. Shit, it wasn't working your way. Now let's try it my way. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of girls don't know how to budget their money. A lot of girls they make $1,000
and then they go get their nails done. They in Gucci the next day. They got a bag. You know what I'm saying? And shit, pussy stank. You know what I'm saying? And they can't even go. Can't even go buy. You know what I'm saying? Can't even go buy McDonald's, and now they back and selling some pussy. You know what I'm saying? Well, when I couldn't make you be consistent, we're gonna do it every day, and we're gonna stack 10,000, and then we could chill for a second. We could go here. We could go to Gucci now. You know, we could go do this. Like some girls need that structure. You know what I'm saying?
You're a financial manager.
Yeah, really, honestly, yeah, and I'm living off it too. Yeah, we all doing it. It's not like I'm just up in Gucci every day buying this and buying that. I can do that.
Now, an interesting thing, like there's a lingo to what you guys do. Like you call where the girls work the blade.
The blade, right? Or the track, or the stroll.
What's the third one? The stow?
The whole stroll. The stroll.
The whole stroll.
The stroll.
Like store.
No, STROLL. Going for a stroll.
Oh, the stroll. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
The blade.
The blade or the stroll. Don't you call it, like, if they go take a break, you call it the cut?
Oh, she hit the cut real quick.
Yeah. Like that's when they.
She's just somewhere she can't be seen. She in the cut.
All right. Right. Like, is there what other lingo is there? Like,
we got squares. We got onstitutes. We got.
What is a onstitute? Just a one-off girl, like some girl who does it for a day.
She thinks she's a hoe, but she really not. She a onstitute. Like, she don't make no money. You know what I'm saying? Like, she thinks she big hoeing, and she really not. She a onstitute. She's not a prostitute. You know,
that's hilarious.
That's how we just talk. That's how we pinch. We talk to each other. We like, oh, she a onstitute. She not a big hoe like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we look at it. Like, we want who the biggest hoe, who the biggest pimp, who got the nicest car, who got, you know.
Right.
That's a win too. You know what I'm saying? And making sure our girls represent us. Like, shit, if I got a Benz, I want to make sure she got one too. You know what I'm saying? If I got a Bentley, I'm gonna make sure she at least got a Benz, at least. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, cause she represents you when she go out that door. You know what I'm saying? And she looking like trash. All these other girls gonna see her like, wow, he's not doing you right. Why would I come pay him? You know what I'm saying? He's not upgraded you. He ain't did nothing for you.
And that's you know what that brings up. Like, there's kind of an honor among thieves among pimps too, from what I remember. Like y'all try and steal from each other. Y'all steal from each other.
We'll steal your girl, but as far as like, you could leave $1,000 around me and steal from me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not gonna fight. Like, we're not gonna come to blows or physical over no woman. If you're a real pimp, you know, we don't fight over girls. We don't shoot over girls.
No, that's what I found interesting is, like, if a pimp talks to a girl and gets that girl to go with him and leave her pimp, like, that pimp will take.
You got to soak it up.
He'll go to the pimp that she left, and they'll go and sit down and they'll church.
Yeah, we'll talk
about like what he did wrong,
but it's
help him out.
It's dangerous these days, though, because not everybody play by the rules. Sometimes, you know, me and my pimp partners, we joke about it. Like, I might have to fax him his papers. You know what I'm saying? Because he might be mad. You know, I'm going to send him a fax. I'm not even gonna call him. You know what I'm saying? You just told, man, I'm not about to pull up. You know, you just took this man. Sometimes you might have took his the only way he paying rent, the only way he doing this and that. You know, and I just happen to be coming to his city. He might be in New Jersey somewhere. I come from LA, and just take one or two of his girls and go back to LA. He's like, damn, that hurt. Shit. Yeah, but you know, he's not gonna shoot me. He's not gonna, you know, he shouldn't shoot me or nothing like that. I could hop out, go to New York right now, and it'd be 10 pimps hanging out, and I could hop out, don't know nobody, and introduce myself as some pimping from LA, and I'm supposed to be welcome. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So there's like a community, like
there is a community. We all know each other. All the hoes know each other. They all follow each other on Instagram. You know, they all like, so you could. It's like everybody has their own little network, but it's like ours is like a secret society more than like, you know. There's some people who don't have their page on private who just out there like that, but most of us we just deal with each other because nobody love us but us.
Now, what do you have to say about girls who, like, if a girl says, "Man, I thought I wanted to do this, but now I don't feel like I do. I made the wrong decision."
Shit, she go home to her mama then, right? She go back to her mama house. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's no strings attached. Like, you don't have to be here. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think.
Do you feel that the majority of pimps follow that rule?
Yes, I think the majority of them. Of course, it gets complicated. Like, oh, baby, please stay, all that type of shit. But as far as putting somebody, putting somebody in a headlock and saying, you're gonna stay here and I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Right, pulling out the switchblade and I'll cut your face, bitch.
She has to go make money. She has to go get on a date. If she didn't want to be there that bad, the first date she get out. Can you call the police? That's all she has to do. If she really didn't want to be there, you know what I'm saying? Can you call the police? Or she got a letter out on the host roll, so she could just walk right somewhere and never come back.
If you ask a date that, well, that's probably the best. I wouldn't ask a date that because, like, if I were some chick's date, I picked up some girl and she said, "Can you call the police?" I'd be like, "Well, yeah, after you're done sucking my dick." Like, like I pay for this.
Hey, but you'd be surprised, man. These chicks like helping these girls. They give them a ride. They give them a ride from here to Santa Monica. They give them a ride from here to the valley. So they call the police, and because she know that she's still a hoe, I'm gonna get your number, and I'm gonna call the police for you. Because she's still gonna be a hoe, whether she with that pimp or not. She's still gonna be a prostitute regardless. You know what I'm saying? No, he's not making her be a hoe. 99% of the time, I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? You can't make somebody, and especially in the United States, bro. I doubt it. The Asians do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Those are the real human traffickers.
How many girls have you dealt with or seen that weren't that you got to be hoes for you that weren't hoes already? Like, does that?
Oh yeah, turn out maybe about 3.
Really?
3, but they were hoes, but they wasn't getting paid for it.
They were professional. They were just
getting beat out they were just getting beat out their money. Yeah, they were just getting the bad end of the deal. That's how I looked at it. Like, you're getting the short end of the stick. You don't realize the power that you have. You could break a man for everything he has there, man. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker did get hard. It's hard to control his wallet. You know what I'm saying?
Sucking everybody's dick, and you're like, dude, at least get.
Exactly. You letting your power go to waste, and you sitting here up in the ghetto, not doing nothing, smoking weed every day, and giving out free pussy. When you could do the same shit and have something. You can have something.
I thought when you and I spoke before the show, I thought you had said something that really, I think, put into perspective. Like, I thought it was a good point you made. You were talking about how the how did you put it? Everybody looks at you and your girls as scumbags anyway. So why not make some money doing it?
Exactly. They look at us like the scum of the earth anyway. Nobody give a fuck about us. Whether we get shot right now, dead in the street, or if I hit it, or if I'm out here balling in Beverly Hills, like, they don't give a fuck about. We're scum of the earth regardless, with a Louis bag or without one. So you might as well have one. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
Might as well have one. If I'm gonna be scum, I'm gonna be scum with a fucking nice bag.
Exactly. I'm gonna be scum up in the Ritz Carlton. Like,
now, we're gonna talk. We're gonna get on that subject you wanted to get on. There's a difference. This was something that I found interesting too when we talked. There's a difference between pimping and human trafficking, right?
Big difference, night and day.
So why don't you tell us from your perspective what the difference between
a human trafficker is somebody who's like either using force, you holding somebody's passport, you know what I'm saying? You're doing something foul like that. That's a human trafficker. A pimp, just a motherfucker that just want to live fly, and he got some girls that do things for him, and that's it. And I feel like they're making now the small time pimps or whatever that's getting money. If people weren't out here pimping, what else we gonna do? What else do we got? Really, you know what I'm saying? Like, we not out here fucking robbing, stealing, and killing. I'm not doing none of that shit. Why?
Right.
Because of the game. You know what I'm saying? If I wasn't in the game, shit, you don't know what I don't know what I'd be. I might be in jail somewhere. I might be dead already. You know what I'm saying?
So you kind of feel as though being in the game it helps keep you from a worse fate.
Yeah, exactly. And now that they know that, and I feel like now that they know that, it's like, okay, well, that's what they doing now. So let's give them 50 years. If she gets mad, if I get into forever, it's gone. You feel me? So
that's scary. That's scary.
That
takes some big trust. Like, how do you trust a woman? We can just leave a period right there. No. Like, how do you how do you deal with that? Like, how do you prevent yourself from that fate? Like, how do you protect yourself?
It's the risk we take. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's crazy, dude. That's a big risk, man. I mean, you're making some money, but
every night she's taking risks. She risks her life every night. You know, so it's a risk I take too.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? She out here risking her life, her freedom. You know what I'm saying?
Now, you wanted to talk about the laws.
Man,
I kind of want to talk about that too.
Laws, man. I just feel like California is the biggest pimp. Anyway, like
that's what you mentioned. A lot of girls said last time. I really want to hear.
It's a lot of girls that probably want. It's a lot of girls that probably want to get out the game, but like California keeps making them pay these fines, and so say you get caught for prostitution charge. And then now you owe prostitute. They're gonna fine you. They're gonna make you pay for classes or whatever. Then now you're back out on the street trying to get some money to pay for these classes. And guess what? Vice pull up on you and give you another ticket. They might not even take you to jail, but now they're gonna give you more classes. They're gonna give you more fines. They might and then that first ticket might take you to jail.
Classes. What are these classes that you're talking about?
HIV classes. Like health classes, you know, like how to put on a condom.
And you have to pay for these classes?
Yeah, yes. And then community service, they make it do community service. You gotta pay for community service like $100, something like that.
Wait, you gotta pay for community service? Yep. I thought that was just something you showed up and did.
Nah, you gotta pay.
You gotta pay too?
You gotta pay.
So what kind of money are we talking about? Like, how much are these classes? How much is community service?
Well, they add up because, you know, so the first one might be 50 or 100 or something, and then they go up, and then they stop. They don't go up after a while. I mean, after a certain point. But you catch one, you catch two, you might get 3 of them in a row. Because you're trying to pay the first one.
Right. So that's the thing is that what I guess from a Square's perspective, right? The question would be.
You can actually. She's standing right here. She can tell. How much of those fines that the court made you pay for all these court cases? She said, "Which ones? Community service, or restitution, all type of shit." That's what I'm saying. Like,
what the fuck is restitution?
Like, restitution is basically when you've committed a crime. I guess you did harm to whoever. You got to pay restitution. But sometimes you don't have to pay restitution.
What did she do?
She's loitering or whatever. She's loitering.
Did she suck his dick too hard?
That's what I'm saying. So now you got restitution. You owe you owe the state. You owe the city. That should just add up. But then you don't pay. Then you got a warrant. You go to jail. It's like, it's just like California, the biggest pimp here, man. I ain't gonna lie. They big pimp. They're making money off all these. It's not just one prostitute. They're making it up all California.
Oh, hang on, brother. You got static going on.
Can you hear me?
Kinda. Try it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There you go.
Clear now.
Yeah. I'm just saying they do these big prostitution sweeps and charge all these hoes for prostitution, basically.
And so from your perspective, what you're seeing happening is
it's like a racketeering thing they're doing.
Right. Like California's coming in and they see, oh, you guys are doing this stuff and you're making money. and we want our cut. And
Exactly.
so we're gonna
It's not
slap
really
these
about you
things
guys'
on
safety. Yeah, it's not really about you guys' safety and none of that. Because we could they could put more street lights, they could put more police, they could do all this. They don't do that shit. They just take you to jail and give you a fine. You know what I'm saying? And then put on the TV that, oh, we took this many people to jail and make it look like they're doing it. I don't give a fuck. You know? It's just all about
So you feel it's all about the money.
Yeah, it's all about the money always. At the end of the day.
And you were talking before about how they want, if you want to be in the game normally, then you, like in a legal way, then you got to join like an escort service or
yeah, you gotta join an escort service. You can't just be like an independent escort. Like you have to work for an escort service. All right, so let me tell you this. My girl got caught for escorting her without a license. They couldn't get her for anything else. When they got her, she walked in, it was a prostitution sting. Police were in there, vice were in there, and they gave her a ticket for escorting without a license because they couldn't get her for anything else. Now, escorting without a license, it's crazy. When I looked at the law, it's like, okay, you have to be an active escort for an escort company, but if you can't be independent. You know what I'm saying? Like if you own your own escort company, they can actually try to come after you for pimping and pandering, and it doesn't make any sense. You gotta have to work for somebody. Basically, now if I want to be legal big pimping, I gotta be like.
Leave it to California to unionize prostitution.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. But the problem with that is the people who would actually do unions, they're not in the street.
Right.
No private is gonna do that shit. So what union would actually truly represent a prostitute? Because I heard they had a sex workers union now. But who the fuck are they? They're not in the streets. You know what I'm saying? They don't represent these hoes out here.
So you're saying, wait. So you're saying there's a sex workers union, but you've never heard of them? You've never seen them?
Yeah, who are these people? The sex workers union who speak for us. Like, I feel like pimps, man, we get it. Who speaks for us? Who speaks? I don't know. I'm getting frustrated. I need a blunt. Can you roll a blunt, please? God damn. Nobody gives a fuck about us. That's what I was saying. Like, who cares? Nobody gives a fuck anyway. Like, we have nobody that speaks for us, and and that's fine.
And the problem with that is, I think part of the problem with that is that the public, the public is given the perspective that you guys prey on these girls, and you're just evil, dirty men who are just taking advantage of young women. And there's no redeeming qualities or for who you are and what you do whatsoever. And that's, I think, why, at least from the public's perspective, you're not getting any kind of support because there's no.
What about the guy in Nevada who has the legal brothel? What's the difference? He has 20 white girls, 30 white girls working for him.
Right, but he's doing it the legal way.
But it's the same thing, so it's not a moral thing. It's illegal.
Right, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that.
It's about the money.
Absolutely right. It's not right. So why should it? If it's just a matter of a law,
I'm sure.
Made it illegal for you to do what you're doing.
We would register.
Wouldn't you be viewed the same as the dude who's
to do like parking meters for hoes? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you clock in for work, you pay to work your little zone and shit. When you clock out, and that's,
like a parking meter that allow you and that's your corner for the time.
Yeah, exactly. A printed ticket. If you get caught without the ticket, after it expires,
that's actually a brilliant idea. I've never heard of that before. That's kind of funny.
They should do that shit. And then,
they should.
But they do that. They do that in other countries, though. Yeah, it's only a problem here.
Like everything else, we have a history in this country of fucking up
good things. No.
Yeah,
I think he got kicked.
Oh, my boy, he's gone again.
Yeah, it's not you.
September 11th, man. You guys didn't say anything about September 11th. R.I.P., man. All the firefighters died.
Yeah, we've been watching footage of that this evening. It's still just horrible to watch.
Do you remember where you were?
Oh, hell yeah.
When it happened?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Hold on, we're going to finish up our little thing real quick. We're sharing where we were when
9/11
9/11 happened. Yeah. Well, I graduated
yeah.
I graduated high school early, and so I was sleeping in that morning. And my mom came up and woke me up, told me to turn on the news, and I got pissed at her and started yelling at her. But then she turned on my TV, and I was just in fucking shock.
Yeah, I was in 7th grade, and my grandma was cooking oat or grits in the kitchen. I remember, and then I came in about to make some Eggos, my Eggos, and at the time we had this little TV. It had to be about 5 inches, maybe not 5, maybe 7 inches. I don't know. It was like a little TV, kitchen TV. You know, like just small for the kitchen.
Yeah. I remember. Well, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah,
those
and then
tiny little TVs.
Yeah, it had a little antenna in the back and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was the first tower was hit, and they were saying, like, people were calling in saying how it looked like the plane did it on purpose. And then the second one hit while I had just turned my head, and it hit, and they said, "Oh, this is a terror attack, ladies and gentlemen. This is not an accident." And then I went to school, and everybody, and they thought they was gonna hit the school, and it was it was panic, bro.
We didn't know what was going on. I remember that they were like, "Is this coordinated? Are there going to be other attacks?"
And they hit the Pentagon too. It was crazy.
Yeah,
that shit was crazy. I'm hopping on a flight tomorrow to New Jersey. And there's a freaking hurricane on the East Coast. I'm still thinking about if I should go or not.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. You might want to hold off on that shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
That's crazy. I know. I wanted to see if I get my ticket like switched around or something.
Yeah, I would. I fucking would.
But it's not hitting New Jersey directly. It's hitting like South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia.
Oh, did you call the hurricane directly and ask where it was headed next? Did it tell you? Because if it didn't tell you that, then you're shit out of luck, buddy. It goes where it goes.
Damn, dude, right? I'm like, the airport is right by the water too.
Yeah, you go right ahead, buddy. Like at the end of the show, we'll all say we miss you, we love you, we're glad we got to talk to you before you passed away. We'll give like a little pre-eulogy. No, dude, don't do that shit. But yeah, I was on the road. I was on the freeway early in the morning, driving to work. I was headed from Orange County down to San Diego.
You were driving, bro. I was in 7th grade. Freaking old.
I was in 4th.
Yep. I was headed to Naval Station 32nd Street, where I worked at the hospital there. And I had the radio on, and there was no station that wasn't, every station was talking about what was going on. What?
I said you couldn't miss it. I know it was on every station.
No, you couldn't. And I didn't believe it at first. I'm like, what? No. That can't happen. Is this some sort of prank? Like, I didn't believe it at first. I'm like, this ain't real. And then I got to work, and nobody was working. We all sat and watched the television, and we watched those towers, and we were all in shock, man. We were like, dude. And all we could think was, we're going to war. We're going
to war. It's funny that you said that, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, damn, they fucked up. Bush is in office. Bush about to whoop somebody's ass.
He's a dumb, angry white boy. He's
about to go in.
Yeah. Yeah. We all knew it too. We were like, well, this is it. This is gonna put us.
I've been seeing like a bunch of like conspiracy theory stuff today about 9/11. It's about that. I'm so confused because I don't know about. I'm not an expert on explosions and none of that. So when I look I'm like got an uneducated perspective. You don't know what to believe. It's like fuck.
So. Well, I mean, here's the one thing I always say. I don't know the truth about what happened, but I know this. This is true for me. I believe 100% that the story that we were given and told about what happened is bullshit. I don't know the truth, but I know but I believe it to be true that that's not true. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it all went down the way they said.
Did you hear how they were all saying they heard explosions?
Yeah, in the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's just how many.
You got survivors. You had people in the sub levels, the sub basement levels. Like there were like 2 or 3 levels below, and you had people down there who heard like these big booms, and then the ground beneath them like rose as if the explosion happened below them. And that was before the fucking plane hit.
And they were saying that there's no building that ever just like free fall collapse that was made of steel.
Well, and here's the thing with that. Like from the research that I've done, like for a long time, I thought, yeah, that's bullshit. Because from everything I've seen, like you got skyscrapers that have caught fire on every fucking level, and they still standing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why did this one?
They're built for that. Yeah.
Now, so for a long time I was like, nah, man, there's no way the thing could collapse the way it did.
They try to blame it on the gasoline or whatever.
Well, the way it was constructed was unique from what I've come to, from what research I've done. Like the way most skyscrapers are designed in the standard structure. Like this one was designed by a guy. Now here's an interesting thing. He's this Japanese architect who got his name from building like a couple of famous buildings over in fucking like Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia. Like he worked for the Saudis and built buildings for them. I'm serious about that. And then he built the twins.
That's interesting. I don't know.
It is an interesting fact. I'm not saying that there's a definite connection there or that means anything, but it sure is.
I don't believe in coincidences.
Right. Well, neither do detectives, and I don't either. I tend to believe that coincidences. Yeah. So, but the structure of it was like, I guess it was designed so that the interior didn't have like load-bearing walls. It was all the support was on the outside and the corners, I guess, and so it made it easy for it to pancake. But I don't know. I'm not a fucking architect, and I'm not a construction worker. Yeah.
Okay, so the gravity load weight of the building was held by 2 things. There's a central core of steel beams, and then the outer steel curtain, which is steel and concrete, did some also support, obviously, for gravity weight, and also gave it the stiffness. And he designed it that way because normally you don't have. It allowed every floor to have a giant open space, basically almost an acre of floor space. And so, especially when the first tower collapsed, the plane that hit it right in the corner where there's even a greater amount of the load bearing. So you can see that one especially collapses right on that point, or starts to fall right on that point. And then it's called I was looking it up earlier today, a progressive collapse. Once one small piece goes, the rest follows in quick fashion.
Okay. Here's now I'm willing to buy that, because I know that I looked into it, and definitely the design and structure of the Twin Towers was unique in that respect. And so it's not the same as the majority of other skyscrapers and the design that they use around the world. Now, here's my issue though. When
he's gone. I'm guessing he's going to talk about World Trade Center 7 next is my guess, because I think he and I have talked about that before. But we'll see what he has to say when he gets back on. Let me check chat, see if anybody's got anything.
Whoops.
Oh,
No.
there he is.
Okay.
So how many stories was that thing? That thing was like 200 stories or something?
110, I think.
110. Now, I think the planes hit somewhere around like in the 90s.
On the one tower, they hit from 80 something, 90 something, and then the other one like 20, about roughly 20 stories lower. The one that collapsed first was actually hit lower, which makes sense because you've got the damage, and then you've got hundreds and hundreds of or thousands of tons more pressure on the weak points at that point.
All right. So 2 questions about that. With most structures, and maybe it's the unique structure that did this, that explains why it collapsed the way it did. But usually, when you hit something stacked like that, the point that it was hit and everything above that falls, but everything below that point is still structurally sound and usually stays.
It is because of how it's built.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
The other thing is
it true that no Jewish people died?
No.
I keep hearing that shit. I don't know
No.
why.
No, that's definitely a conspiracy.
Have you heard that though? Am I just crazy?
No, I hadn't heard that.
They said that none of the Jewish people went to work that day.
No. There was a man. I think the owner of the building, who I believe is Jewish, like I think what was it, like days prior, like a week prior, took out an insurance policy, a terrorism insurance policy. So like a week before the fucking planes hit.
You want me to check that for you?
Yeah. I'm pretty.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I want to see how many Jewish people died in the 9/11 attack. Is that even a statistic?
These are the real questions.
Oh my god!
Did Harvard do statistics on that? No.
Not that I'm aware of.
A Jewish study, the Jewish question. Oh Jesus!
Oh boy,
this is hilarious.
The Jewish question. Oh Jesus! I caught that.
Oh man! So the other question I have about the collapse is, Joel, you were talking about a central core. Now, if I remember correctly, those were I-beams and like just a lot of fucking metal rods and shit.
They're steel beams that, as the building got taller, the steel, and this was true the inside on the curtain wall on the outside, as well as the core beams. As the building went up, they got smaller in size because they didn't need to be as big as they did at the bottom because they weren't carrying as much load the higher they went.
So why wasn't there this middle core standing? Why didn't the outer, like the floors, collapse and the core in the middle stay?
Because when you have to think about how much weight there really is coming down on this, and these things are these beams are welded and actually they're bolted together. So
they weren't even welded together.
Well, that's they generally use riveting and stuff like that because it's better than trying to weld all those kind of things together like that. But I was set on the exterior. They had some welding points, but in general bolted together in large pieces. But you are talking about. I mean, I was actually going to look up how many like hundreds of thousands of tons of material moved downward at one at a single instant, all of a sudden dropping. And when that hits, there is no material, no structure alive that is going to be left. And here's the other thing about that particular type of building, because it's not built the same way. The floors themselves act as structural integrity. Okay. So as the floors, because they put them in as I think like 3 or 4 inch concrete slabs and are connected to the core and to the outer walls. When those start collapsing, the outer walls no longer have anything holding them together as things are coming down. And it's hard to imagine the sheer forces involved with that much steel and concrete coming down with the
Well,
with the
but-
pull of gravity.
With a standard structure and architectural design, that wouldn't have happened.
Probably not. Not exactly in that way. No, there would probably be more of it standing. Yes, which they explained during the investigation of World Trade Center 7. They had a better
That
better
wasn't
idea
built the
of
same
that
way,
one.
right?
No, it was built exactly the same way. That's
The
why.
third
That's
one?
why it. Yeah, the Yeah, the third one that collapsed on its own. It was also built with the same
Yeah,
design.
I kind of still like it didn't even get hit. Like debris smashed through some windows, and
No,
then
it was
boom.
it was a lot more than that. I actually, in some of the videos we were watching today, you could there a cameraman actually just who was walking around down there and filming everything. He went into number 7 when there was only like one guy left, and policeman was making sure everybody was out. The windows were shattered. There was debris everywhere on the front of the building, and what you don't see is the back of the building where the burning debris got in and set 10 floors on fire. And because once the I think it's the South Tower collapsed, it destroyed the city water system there. So none of the sprinkler systems, of course, worked. Okay.
Oh my God, are you serious? G, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I don't know nothing about this shit. I'm just
Right,
listening.
you're just chilling.
I'm just
So-
a black guy. I'm just playing this.
Oh
Nah,
man,
but I'm just listening, bro.
that's another thing is that Pentagon attack. Joel, I don't know. Maybe you
I
have
didn't
some
hear too
information
much
on
about
that.
that. That's
Well, here's
It
the
didn't-
thing: is that
say too
They
much
took-
about what happened really there.
well, the way that the thing hit, like it was a direct level hit, and it left a crater, in the side of the building, and there was no debris. And I don't want to, it just seems strange, because number one, the level at which the plane would have had to have been in order to hit, it would have been low to the ground, and it would have had to come in pretty much directly. Am I still there?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You're
Oh,
here.
okay.
Remember, I got mine on mute, so it might take a second for me to respond.
No, that's fine. Usually when planes crash, like when a plane drops from fucking 30,000, 40,000 feet in the air and comes crashing down and hits the fucking ground, that's a long way to fucking hit, and it's coming down at free fall velocity. There's fucking intact engines, there's debris, there's all kinds of fucking evidence. And with the Pentagon thing, you had this crater and you had nothing. You had no debris. I mean, there weren't, from all the pictures and everything I've seen, and maybe I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but everything I saw, that didn't look like just a plane hit. That looked a lot more like a fucking missile. And from everything, they came in and they took, from all the businesses, they took all the fucking footage from the security cameras that were looking out. Like as far as I know, there's no video footage that shows this plane coming in and hitting the side of the building, the Pentagon, which that seems really curious to me, that there's not any footage. Am I still there?
So why has nobody been convicted?
What,
Well,
you mean like
because
the
we
people
killed-
who fucking they
Like,
died?
I mean, if all the evidence points to like something happening, somebody need their ass whooped.
Well, that's why we went to war. I mean, if you consider it that way, the people who you would
Whooping the
convict for
wrong
those
ass.
crimes, well, that's certainly debatable. I mean, some people make that argument. There's questions as to whether Osama really was involved or not. You've got video footage. You know all those videos he kept putting out. They'd say, "Hey, we got another video of Osama."
If that's the case, you could blame 9/11 on Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton could have killed his ass in the 90s.
Why would Bill Clinton kill Osama bin Laden in the
after he
90s?
tried to bomb the towers the first time.
Yeah, and the bombings in Africa, the embassy bombings.
Yeah, they had him. I don't know if it was Operation
Wait,
Desert
wait, wait.
Storm.
Was Osama involved in that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
those were later revealed to be kind of test runs on what kind of security we had.
Was. Yeah, Bill Clinton could have killed his ass in the 90s.
Yeah,
they called off the strike.
Yep, they sure did.
So I mean, if that's the case, 9/11 is Bill Clinton's fault.
I'm cool with that. I want to blame the Clintons for everything as far as I'm concerned. Fuck them. But like, you know what I just learned the other day? Check this out. Back in like 1980, Detroit gave the key to the city to fucking Saddam Hussein.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was one of ours.
Yeah, that's because that's until we stop fucking with you. Once we stop fucking with you, we gonna, boy, listen. USA, you don't want to beef with us.
No, and that's very true. That's very true.
You can't win.
There's a term. I remember watching an interview with a guy who claimed to be what they call an economic hitman, I think is what he called himself.
Yeah, the diary of an economic hitman, where you go into a country, destabilize it, and take over.
Right, you tell them these are the resources we want. Now we will back you to take over as the new country's leader. We'll give you the training and the resources you need to come in and commit a coup.
The oil, the diamonds,
and then you listen
water.
to us and you give us all your fucking resources for cheap, and we will pay you big dollars.
Those are the big cream of the crop banks that do that shit. Those are the people who fund both sides of the war that do that type of shit.
Oh shit! Now we're talking bankers wars.
Those are the real gangsters.
For real.
They old as fuck too. They old as fuck, sitting up in the Waldorf Astoria, sitting the Young War and shit. That's gangster.
You ever see that? Yeah. You ever see that meme that shows like? It's got two pictures, and the picture on the left is like a black dude in a fucking mask holding two people at gunpoint, and it says amateur underneath, like he's mugging them. And then it shows a dude at a desk, like moving paper. There's two people on the other side sitting in front of the desk, and the guy sitting behind it is sliding papers over to him and handing him a pen, like sign these papers. And it says professional. Like
I'm telling you, the bankers, boy, that's. Ooh, they gangster.
Yeah, those are some dirty, rotten. Like,
hey, the Wolf of Wall Street's the gangster movie. If you really look at it, that's really some gangster shit going on in Wolf of Wall Street.
It is. That's it's theft. It's dude. That movie is fucking hilarious. Oh my god, I love that movie.
Scarface missed out.
What?
I said Scarface was in the wrong business. Real.
Did you know that the Federal Reserve said, like, I think it was the day before the 9/11, they said they misplaced, what was it? It was like 2-point-something trillion dollars. So
was 9/11 a distraction?
Well, I don't know.
From that?
I mean, it's a coincidence. It's here we go with another one of those. Did we find out if the owner was Jewish and if he did indeed take out an insurance plan?
Insurance plan, and how many Jewish people died in 9/11?
Sorry, I got busy talking, so I had to stop typing. I'll get back on that.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
See if we can find some Berkowitz last name that died in 9/11.
Berkowitz. Okay. So, what's your opinion? Do you think there's a Jewish conspiracy? Is that why you bring that up?
Man, I think they got their hand in a lot of shit, bro. I don't know. I really don't know.
They do. But I mean, I don't know. See, that
takes a lot of planning. That takes, you got to come from the top of it. You can't just, just be somebody some Jewish people who did that by themselves. Nah, you gotta have clearance.
You gotta have clearance.
Like 9/11 type shit. Yeah, you can't just do some shit like that and play with it.
Well, that's the argument against it being a conspiracy, is that with so many, in order to pull that off, you would have
You
to have so many people.
different agencies. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You'd have to have a ton of people involved working together, and you'd have to be able
But
to
not if
ensure.
you know how everybody's gonna react. If you just set shit into motion, all you gotta do is set it into motion. It's already in motion.
Well,
Because that's how you control the population. You know how they work. You know how they gonna respond to certain shit. I mean, that's the only way you can control the population. You know how they gonna respond to shit.
True. I see what you're saying a little bit of wag the dog, but here's the thing. The argument against it is, number one, you'd have to have a ton of people coordinated, working together, right? And you'd have to ensure that they all kept their mouths shut. And it's in human nature to fucking tell the truth. You know what I mean? Like to either rat others out or brag or gloat. Or maybe, you'd have to make sure that nobody involved ever felt any guilt and said,
that's like some shit that nobody can keep under wraps forever. Like, like I don't think Tupac or Elvis could be just running around somewhere keeping quiet and nobody's seen them. Like, oh, there's Tupac, there's Elvis. Like, nobody can just keep that type of shit under wraps. Like, 9/11 is bigger than that.
Tupac is totally alive.
9/11 is bigger than any one person. You know what I'm saying? So. For that to, you know what I'm saying? For that
what were you saying, Adam?
Kept under wraps.
Tupac faked his own death. Everyone knows that. Come on.
That's why there's a new album out every few years.
Tupac chilling in Watts right now with the rest of the fugitives. You know what I'm saying? With the rest of the most wanted list.
Do you really think that like hundreds of government workers would be able to keep quiet about a big conspiracy like that? Like as many leaks as we have.
Here's my issue
on a day-to-day basis, like
right,
like
Here's my issue with that. Here's my argument.
Or the ones that do say something and make them seem like they're crazy.
Here's my argument, right? But here's my argument against that. Two things. Number one, the CIA and the intelligence community at large tends to work interdepartmentally on this basis. If you have an ultimate goal, right? You have an operation and you need different things done in this operation. You have a different department for each step in that operation, right? And each different department takes charge of one step, and then you don't tell them what other departments are involved or what they're doing. So all that department knows about is that one step that they're involved in, and they have no idea what the bigger picture is. So if you take that, and that way, you with everybody in the dark, nobody can tell anybody, hey, this is what's going on, because nobody really knows.
Like 9/11. Because after it's done, you be like, whoa, I was part of that shit. Hold on. You figure it out. You put it together. Our Americans, bro, we're not stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's what, our military, they make it seem like our policemen and our firefighters can't put shit together.
Really?
So
you don't think we're that stupid? Come on, man. Hold on.
As a whole, as individually, no. Like, as a whole, we do move as, like, stupid people. Like, but individually, like, no, we're, like, smart people. Like when we get
right, a person is smart. People are dumb.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with that. Here's the thing with that. There were on the day of 9/11, and here's a coincidence that I don't think is coincidence at all. On the day of 9/11, they scheduled training exercises, drills for pilots, and ran them through fake terrorist attacks. Hijackings. So these pilots on the East Coast were scheduled to run into the air, right? All fake exercises. It's all just a practice drill, as it were. They get in there. They're told, oh, there's somebody attacking wherever. So, and it's all pretend. It's just to make sure you're combat ready. You go run into your fucking plane. You fly into your jet. You go fly off. And you go, okay, so let's see how long it takes you to get.
And he's out.
Hey, but do you see what I'm saying though? Like, even say everything that he was saying is true. Like, makes you sound crazy by even if there's somebody
Oh,
did
yeah.
put out something like that, it just makes you sound crazy even if you're right. Like UFOs
Yeah.
and shit. You can see a UFO right now. I've seen that shit. Crazy. Listen, nigga, what you smoking? You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you could be telling the truth.
Yeah. I'm
It's just
personally,
so
I'm not a big.
unbelievable. But I'd rather, I want to have faith in the government sometimes, like at least a little bit. Like y'all not that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying? Like I don't think y'all, because if y'all really wanted to do as
Son of a
foul as
bitch.
the government could,
yeah.
like they couldn't just take over the streets and just say, we're just gonna whoop everybody's ass, like get in
Right.
line.
But so I got the
Right.
information on the owner. He's actually co-owner. There were several people of a consortium who bought the World Trade Center. And the thing is they had completed the sale only 2 months prior to 9/11, so they had just taken ownership. And at that time, they had to buy insurance, obviously, for the building, and also at that time, pretty much all insurance included any kind of terrorism insurance already, including the previous, for
so
the
it
90.
wasn't really too funny.
No,
Okay,
no.
that's not abnormal.
It was very normal, including during the 93 bombing, that was covered by terrorism insurance. So and that
So it
paid
was
out
2 months out. It was 2 months prior. There was no week.
No. 2 months out is when ownership transferred to this guy and the consortium that he also represented that went in with him and bought the World Trade Center.
It doesn't say if they were Jewish or not.
No, he was Jewish. Other people weren't all Jewish. He's a
but there's no statistic on how many Jewish people died in 9/11. Did you look at that?
I'll look it up for you. That's next. I had to come back and tell you this. So
Okay,
there's nothing fishy in the fact that they had insurance that covered a terrorism incident.
Okay.
When did they purchase the terrorist insurance?
Right after they took possession of the building, which was about 2 months before the attacks.
Okay, so it was 2 months out. All right, yeah,
Yes.
that doesn't seem odd.
Yeah, because they just bought the building, so they had to get the insurance now.
There was some story.
But if you were the government, hold on. If you were the government, you could make it look like nothing was wrong, man. Come on, 2 months. We're about to do this.
You know what? You know what pisses me off? You know what pisses me off?
What?
Do you remember when?
I hear it in your voice.
Trump,
what pissed you off?
You remember when Trump went to Russia and he's standing there with Putin? Did you hear about this? And he's standing, they're at podiums side by side or whatever. And somebody asked him, do you believe what the U.S. intelligence community is telling you? And he basically said, "No, not really. I don't trust it." And everybody got up in arms, like, how dare you disparage our intelligence community in front of the world, in front of you chose Russia over us, motherfucker. Are you kidding me? Did we forget that the fucking CIA's been feeding fucking heroin and crack cocaine to our fucking ghettos for fucking decades? That's where that shit came from. And what's his name? Freeway
Rick
Mike or something?
Freeway Rick.
Yeah, Freeway Rick fucking was flying for the CIA, smuggling drugs into the country. Like, blacks didn't make that heroin or that crack cocaine. It was handed to them, and guess by who?
We made
Our
the
fucking
guns,
intelligence community. All of a sudden, we want to act like they're trustworthy. How dare you doubt the fucking intelligence community? Fuck the intelligence community. Fuck the CIA. Those fuckers have never been on our side. Those motherfuckers are for themselves. They certainly aren't for us. How about fucking MK Ultra? How about when they fucking did that Tuskegee Airmen shit? Not Tuskegee Airmen.
But that seems like a separate entity from that must be separate from the White House, bro. I don't care who's in the White House. That shit's going on regardless.
But that's our intelligence community. That's what I'm saying. Is that yes, it's separate, but that's connected. And we should never.
I hear you.
We should never trust them. Like, they're not. They're not our friends.
Nah, hell nah. Nah, never our friends, but that's the whole point. They're independent. They're not supposed to be anybody's friend. But you know what I'm saying?
But the minute that Trump says, but that's what I'm saying, like, everybody, like, you had the entire minority community going, no, man, fuck the CIA. because of Freeway Rick. They knew who he was. They knew where the drugs were coming in. Now all of a sudden, Trump says, "Yeah, I don't trust him either." And now everybody's against that. They're like, "Oh, the intelligence community, you can't. That's the U.S. You know, they're the good guys. So you're a bad guy for saying that. Fuck off! All of a sudden, you want to trust them. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I don't know. That shit pisses me off."
No, I hear you, but I say we shouldn't trust them. Yeah, well, the black community, we're not trusting none of them because they're not our friends. I can't say the whole black community, you know what I'm saying, but as far as like the poor black inner city, like we don't trust them because day to day how they interact with us, how we could just feel their tone when they already starting the conversation. Like, damn, I ain't even do shit.
Well, you talking about like cops and shit?
Yeah, when I get pulled over, bro, I put my hands out the window off top first. As soon as they walking up to out the window, they will not shoot me. It's like,
you know
for real.
what?
Why do I feel like that?
No, you shouldn't have to feel like that. I agree with you on that.
I shouldn't have to feel like that. I'm not doing it to nobody, but I know how it is, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Well, and you have to do that for your own safety. But I understand what you're saying. Like, you shouldn't have to feel scared like
somebody
that.
shoot him in the head. I know. So, but I know. So I understand.
I mean, there shouldn't be. You should be able to just act normal, and it shouldn't be an issue. And when you're not able to, that's when.
Because that's what I make them feel like that. So that's what I say. Like, I try to get the interaction over with as quick as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, here go my license registration, hands out the window.
What I heard? The best advice I ever heard was treat your interaction with police like a hostage situation. Like you're you're negotiating with a hostage or with people who've taken somebody hostage. Like, whoa, let's just all calm down. Let's just be cool. And I think that's the best.
I know,
advice.
but that's not how the Constitution is written. That's what pisses people off. This is not Nazi Germany. I just had to show my fucking papers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, and I agree with you on that.
That's what I'm saying. This is America. We shouldn't. I'm American too. And that's why people.
I agree with you.
It's a thing about the flag, like why black people feel like when you see people flying the flag, like it's not that we have something against America. We're Americans too, but it feels like just like this past weekend, or like a day or two ago, there was a football game in Orange County in Santa Ana.
Oh yeah, I just heard
about
this.
that. You heard about that? They're chanting USA, and it was racial tension. Like, why should we all Americans, but why is there racial tension?
I'm so
you're chanting USA. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead, tell us why.
Because we feel excluded. Because when you
feel excluded?
When you're chanting USA, and you know the all white school, y'all Orange County, whatever, you're playing a Latino team and you're saying build a wall, you know what I'm saying, and you're saying shit like that to these kids that are just playing football. It's just like y'all politicize the game, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, damn, we just came to play football.
I agree with
Mexicans and shit. So
the build the wall thing.
When you chant USA, build the wall, Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying, and all the current events is going on, we feel some kind of way. Like, damn, like we're not part of USA. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I feel you. I feel you on that.
Where's our part of America?
Let me ask you this: if all they had done, if they had their little red, white, and blue flags, and they were chanting USA, would you still feel the same way?
No. If it was just like, if it depends on the setting, like, why are you it's like it just depends, bro, how you do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like how
the context.
If I come in your store and I got a do-rag on, you know what I'm saying, and I'm sagging my pants and I'm cussing, you know what I'm saying, you don't look at me different than if I came in. It's just we just, I don't know. I guess it'd be the history behind it, all type of shit.
You're talking about context.
You're just the context. Yeah, I'm just saying it's the context you do it in, bro. It's like, just coming at me and you got USA, you're in my face and saying like, like, damn, okay, USA, motherfucker, yeah, I'm right here. We're yeah, you're not going to Iraq and saying that shit. You're not going to China and saying that shit. Right. You're in the United States of America, making it seem like we're on different sides. You know what I'm saying?
Quick interjection. I think he's gone, actually. So
cool.
I'll go ahead and let you know. just under 400 victims of 9/11 were Jewish, which is right in line with about 10% of the New York City population. So it's exactly where you'd expect it to be.
I'm back.
Okay.
So
Oh,
many.
no, go ahead. What were you talking
that
about?
was just a rumor I had heard.
Yeah, it's what I was telling him, that there was just under 400 Jewish victims of 9/11, which is right in line with the percentage of the Jewish population of New York.
Did you have to sort through the Did you have to sort through all the no Jewish people died in 9/11 junk to get to that?
No, it was pretty quick.
No, you didn't see all that? Okay.
No, Allison posted in chat
There wasn't.
Snopes
No, I'm just saying,
debunking
there
of
wasn't.
the claim that thousands of Israelis were absent from World Trade Center on 9/11.
Right.
Okay.
And where that came from was the Israeli embassy or whatever said that there were something like 4,000 Israelis in the vicinity of World Trade Centers when the attack happened. Actual Israeli citizens, not talking about just Jewish, but that's not surprising either. I mean, Israelis are in the U.S. all the time doing business, and it's New York.
New York is right. It's Rome.
It's an international business hub, so it's exactly what you would expect. Yeah,
exactly. Right.
Okay, so continue on with what you were doing.
We should probably make our way towards the Q&A, by the way.
Do we have a lot of questions?
We do. We have a decent amount.
No shit. Okay. Well,
you can wrap up with your discussion right now. You can,
I wanted to say about the game that you were talking about, G, with the team. I feel you that it's unfair that they were using it to kind of create an environment in which the other team felt like they were being kept outside of it. Like USA, meaning us, not you.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Our America, white America, basically.
Now they could have made the argument. That no, we included all of us in that. Had it not been for the fact that they had some sign or something saying build the wall. Now you're obviously intentionally dividing, and that's exactly. I can't disagree with that. I can't argue that. That's something that really.
And I feel like Donald Trump is like a cause for a lot of that. Like it's like cool to do that now, and like that in that world. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to make a ruckus. It's cool to go down for attempting to assassinate.
You really feel that way? Because I don't. Man,
in that world, like, because I've been around white supremacists, bro. I've been to prison around white supremacists, like real white supremacists, like not nobody that probably that you would think it of. And that
Trump doesn't. Go ahead.
Him talk. I talk to like how we talking now.
What are you hearing him say?
Like how when we watch the news or something, it's not like we're hearing them talking about it like that. Like we'll be in the day room or something, TV will be on, and you'll see like somebody. Because I was in jail during Barack was transitioning to Trump, so 2016.
16.
Yeah, so they were just saying like it was people getting arrested for like attempting to assassinate Barack and all type of shit. And they were just saying like, yeah, they're just trying to get their strikes up. So when they come to prison, they got raped or some shit like that. Like it's like a whole other underworld to that shit.
Wait, what? I'm not following you.
All right. Basically, like I feel like people do that. White boys try to get their stripes. Like they got their real racist white organizations too, like just like we got black gangs. Yeah, I got white.
But that's so small, though. Like, I mean, there's the majority of white folks.
No, I'm just saying, are not like that exactly, and that's what we're trying to say too. Like, the majority of us are not like that. Like, we have our little people that.
And see, I believe that.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe that.
A lot of us just do our thing, and want to be left alone. We don't want to be harassed by the police. We already got enough shit we got to deal with. You know what I mean?
And I feel that the reason that there's this stigma connected to Trump, like, Trump is making it more comfortable for people who are racist to be more racist. I think that's the media doing that. The media is trying to connect those two things, and there's no connection between those two things. Trump himself isn't racist. Number
Fox
one.
News and Trump ain't connected. You don't think?
In what way? Like they're working
I think
together?
I think they're in a billionaires boys club. Whoever owns Fox News is Trump's boy. They're like, you know what I'm saying, that type of shit. I don't believe in like Illuminati type shit, but I do believe in like cliques. You know what I'm saying? Like we're
Well,
all
yeah, there's
billionaires.
clicks, but I mean,
Yeah, like we're all
Fox News.
billionaires and got our own objectives, like the Koch brothers and all that shit. You know, like that's what I believe goes on. That might be a little institutional racism too, but you know, whatever.
Well, and I remember you
Because the
talking
Koch brothers,
when we
they
talked
spend a
before.
lot of money to do some foul type shit. They try to pass some weird laws and shit.
Well, because they have their own personal agenda and personal interests, and that's the problem. Like, and that's why there is
That's why
a push to.
that's institutional. That's racism right there. Huh?
No, that's
What is that?
individual. That's not institutional. That's
But
them
he's
with
going
their
through and he's
individual
trying to
interests.
make it into a law. That's make it institutionalized. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yes, and that's where you have me. See, that's where I agree. You show me a law that is inherently
Jim Crow
bad
laws,
or racist.
them shits
Exactly.
still,
Well, we took those laws away.
not all of them are gone.
What, like what law? What are you talking about? Ain't no law telling you go to jail just for being black.
Oh nah, but that shit really happened though. Not just for being black though, but
not
just for being black. No, I'm just being dramatic, but not just for being black, but it's just how the whole situation, the interactions, and how it starts. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't happen.
And that's what I'm
the
talking
same
about.
way.
See, this goes.
You know what I'm saying? Just like when you was kicking it with me, remember? You was kicking it with me. We was like, hey, we was all of us, and we was how many?
Oh, you remember that? Yeah, when the cops showed up.
Yeah, and then we like, oh, we got a white boy here. Oh shit, go ahead. You went and talked up to her. You really was like, oh hey, they're white people approve, huh? And then what they say? Oh, okay, cool. And they laughed, and they laughed,
You're right.
And they laughed, and they pulled off.
Yep.
You,
so
like,
for those,
that would have been a whole different reaction. We would have all been up on the curb at gunpoint. You know what I'm saying? But they seen
for
that
real. You really think that?
Because yes, I'm telling you. You already know they would have out and been like, "What the fuck is going on?" But they see you there and you talking happy. There can't be too much going on.
All right, so let me lay this out. For everybody listening. So what G is talking about? There was one night where I was hanging out with him down this street in LA near, and it was me and G and like more than a dozen other dudes and like a couple of girls, and
Tattoos
the majority,
on
like
face.
I think besides there was one white girl and there was me and the rest everybody was black. And it was late at night. It was like fucking midnight or whenever. And a cop car showed up and two cops came out and they were both white boys. And me, jokingly, but also kind of half serious, I said, let me talk to him. Because I thought like I'm kind of like half showing off, but half joking and stuff, but also like partly serious. So I go right to the cops and I go, how you guys doing? And they're like, we're good. We got a call. We heard there's a congregation out here. I was like, yeah, we're just hanging out, man. We're all good. Nobody's causing any trouble if we're being too loud or whatever. And they looked suspicious too. They looked at me like, what are you doing here? And then they looked at everybody else like, what's going on? But they also listened to me and they were like, okay, well, just why don't you guys just go ahead and take off? It's a little late and you guys should go ahead and move on. Go take your party somewhere else. Am I still there?
Yeah, you're here. We hear you.
All right. So yeah, so
exactly.
They get in their car and they left, and I remember everybody going, like they all jumped up, like
we got a standing ovation, like round of applause, my boy. You know what I'm saying? That's my boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That was hilarious. That was so funny.
Josh, I think the way to look at it is not necessarily that we currently have laws themselves that are specifically racially biased. It's the application of the laws that is very often racially biased.
Yes. I agree. Hello?
He might have gotten
Yeah,
kicked as
yeah.
Joel was explaining that, or
He just
Joel's
came from the
statement
heavens
just
with
dumbfounded
that.
him that much.
He just
I was like, man, I really made him quiet on that one.
Yeah, you really made him think.
I mean, shit, you can't fight. I can't fight it.
Yeah. No, Josh,
You
did you hear
can't-
what I said?
You were the last thing I heard was it's the application of those laws.
It's the
That
application
is,
of the
that is
law.
racially biased. Yeah, the application of the laws is
Right,
racially
you're talking
biased.
about basically using laws in a way to help your racist agenda, as it were. If you
To
have
harass people that you think may or may not be, engaged in activity, whatever. Just it's the stop the driving while being black. I mean, that's the classic example.
And then the scary part is though, it's just like if they kill you, it's just like, oops, we'll just do a press conference. Or, oops, what happened? It was an accident. He was unarmed. You know, it was
Yeah,
like, okay.
Yeah,
And then we're moving on. Let's move on though. We're sorry. Let's move on. Instead of, you know what I'm saying? It's that type. It's like, damn, we did that, and let's move on. And that's
Yeah,
it. And,
it's not-
and that could be you. That could be me. It's not. I mean, they want. No, I'm not.
it's
saying
not
like
even
that.
a black.
It
Right,
just
it's not
feels
even a
like
race
it
thing.
could
That could be any of us.
It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be black anymore. Like they're killing white people too. They're killing white ladies.
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
But here's
like,
the thing: is it's not prevalent. It's not like it's not even half. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there's even 50% of the police in the U.S. are running around killing people who are unarmed and who aren't doing anything. Like that doesn't. I mean, there's cases where things maybe mistakes were made, or maybe sometimes it's just malicious. Like, no, you did that shit on purpose, and you're a bad person. But it's not even. That's a minority of cases. The majority of these cops out here are legitimately just doing their job. They're not doing anything wrong. And but because the media picks those few cases and fucking puts them on everybody's television screens and screams and shouts about it and talks about it as if it's happening everywhere, it makes everybody think that that's what's going on. And then that's how.
But it is happening everywhere. Bro. That's what I'm saying. And then they make
It's not though. It's not. I mean, it happens. But that's what I'm saying.
It definitely does happen.
But who is it happening to? That's what I'm saying. This is only happening.
Well, but then, like you said, there's white people who get fucking shot, who are unarmed and aren't doing anything too. Yeah. You don't hear about that often.
But there's an exception to everything, though. That's what I'm saying. Because it does. I'm telling you, if it happens, white people are gonna let you know for sure that it happens.
No, that's just it though. The media doesn't push that because there's no.
Bro, I can tell you, it's a lot of shit that happened on Western, Normandy, and Vermont.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like
make the news.
When white,
I drive past it all the time.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. All I'm saying is it's not as prevalent as they're making it out to be. And when they do that shit, when they push it like it's fucking rampant, like all the cops everywhere are just like, let's kill all the black people. Like that's when you get that. It puts that mindset into everybody's head, and then we treat it as though it's true, and it's not.
Well, the real problem, the real issue is less about, it's the deaths, the wrongful deaths and killing of people, who don't deserve it by police is always bad. But
yes,
it's the everyday harassment of people that is absolutely on a racial basis. That is not.
I don't want to say.
No. You cannot. You absolutely cannot find anything that will tell you that doesn't happen, because that is absolutely true, and that's true.
Yeah. It is.
Hold on. Here's what I'm saying. When the media presents it as though all the cops are killing all the black folks, and everybody takes that and they hear that and they see that and they think, oh shit, that's what's going down. That's going to make people angry. Why the fuck are we getting treated this way? And then when a normal
angry, bro, we're scared. We're scared, bro. It's like the
right. I'm scared and angry.
We're scared. Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying
scared of the police when I get behind. I don't even have to be doing nothing wrong. I'm just scared. Like, damn.
Right.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
But here's what I'm saying. It's a vicious cycle. The media portrays it as though this is what's going on. All the cops are killing all the blacks. Blacks get scared, they get angry. A cop pulls them over for a fucking whatever, and they flip out and they think, here we go. I'm next in line. And they freak out and they do shit. And instead of following, protocol, instead of just being compliant when a cop says step out of the car or turn around, I'm going to put cuffs on you, they're like, no, don't. You don't. No. And then they fight and they resist. And now it's an issue. Right? And so now it becomes yet another thing. And the fucking media comes down on that and they go, here's another example. And it just propagates that.
No, you're
and
right.
It keeps it going and builds it.
You're right about
so
that.
That's where that's coming. All right, well, that's what I'm talking about.
No, you're right about that. But a lot of these people that you're talking about should not have been pulled over or stopped in the first place. They definitely were profiled. They definitely were harassed because of the stereotype.
So exactly. So when you're pulled over and your rights are not being you're not being allowed your rights, you feel some type of way. You're like, so no, don't put the cuffs on me. Like this is like kidnapping. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you feel. We should be able to be like you're supposed to enforce the Constitution. That's what they're here for. You know what I'm saying? Why can't I use the Constitution like anybody else? You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Here's the issue, and this isn't a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's not even a racial thing. It's an cops versus citizens thing.
Yeah.
Because it's true for all of us. If that situation happens and you feel like you're being harassed, I've been harassed by cops before, dude. So I understand. And I know what that feels like, and you want to be like, "Hey, I don't think you're treating me the way you're supposed to. I don't think you're following the law. I don't think this is constitutional. I think you need to fuck off." That's what you want to do, and you want to be non-compliant. But the minute you do that, you make them right. That's not the place to have that fight. The place you fight that is in court, and that's what isn't being taught or shown, or I don't know, but that needs then that
but I gotta go to jail to go to court? I gotta go to jail for the night to go to court.
It sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, do you want to go to jail or you want to die? You know what I mean? Which do you want to do? You want to fight with the cop?
That doesn't sound American to me.
No, you're right. No, see, that's what a lot of this protesting is about, is the fact that it should never be that way. And shining a light on it. And yes, I do think, of course, that they do obviously try to sensationalize more than they should. But the fact is that they're not focusing on the right thing, or most people aren't, and the fact that police shouldn't have that power to just take you to jail because they fucking feel like it. Exactly. And they do.
No, I totally agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But getting that to change isn't going to be when the cop is trying to put the cuffs on you. If you're already at that stage, you've got a choice to make. Do you want to live?
I mean, realistically, yeah.
Do you want to fucking go?
Yeah, I know.
You know
but
what
I'm
I mean?
just saying it shouldn't have to be like that, bro. That's the the struggle.
And see,
that's the struggle.
And this is why.
Right there.
And that message, see, when you make it authority versus American, authority versus freedom, that takes race out of it. Now you got everybody on your side. Like, yes, absolutely, fuck that.
You don't.
Let's all fucking fight against that.
You don't have people. You have people all over the place who are like, you just do what the cops say. They don't care. People who
exactly. If you read the comments on this shit, they're like, well, if they would have just listened, then nothing would have happened. They would have never.
If you got nothing, if you got nothing to hide, just turn out your pockets and do this. It's like, no. The cops. We should be forcing the police and the government, because the cops are just the armed guard, or the armed arm wing of the government. They are the ones that need to be re-educated on what the citizens' rights are and what they are and are not allowed to do.
Yes,
and I agree with that.
But we need to make it.
They need better training.
I agree.
Keep it in the public eye, nothing will happen, because too many people are like, I only back the cops and screw the rest of the people, and that's sad. But most people prefer safety over freedom. And they don't care about
that. That's when the Constitution goes out the window. It's like that.
Exactly.
So then, what's the whole point? What's the whole point of what? So, what country is this?
Exactly.
Well, hold on now. Hold on.
I think he got kicked right after
He said, "Hold on."
Oh man. No, I think he's focusing too much on just the murders and
And I
not.
feel like I'm not even the right person to be talking about this. It's just my little opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, but you are.
know,
You all of us are the right people to be talking about this, but you especially because you live that life.
yeah,
You've had more
I'm in
experiences with this.
it temporarily. I'm trying to go legit, but we all are.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. No, and I know in the chat someone made a comment. It's real hard to fight injustice in court when you don't have the money to do anything.
And that's why that bail law just passed. That no, if you're like violent and you do a crime, I think that's a good law. If that really passed.
Yeah.
Did
The
you hear about
new,
that?
the new trend to try to get rid of bail for low level offenses, because
Exactly.
the number of people who are actually in jail just because they're waiting for trial is an enormous percentage of the prison and jail population, and it's ridiculous. You shouldn't be forced to be in jail just because you're poor.
Yep.
I
you're
agree
not
with that.
guilty. You're not guilty yet. So
Exactly.
yeah, I agree.
No, I don't think. I think it's a big issue. I think it's on purpose that the media and the judicial system at large wants to keep us thinking of this in terms of race, because it keeps us divided and
I don't
focused
think
on
too much of them anymore doing it. I think it's the population now, really. It's like, you
Oh
can't.
no, the media fucking plays up race big time,
If
dude.
you're gonna, I
Are
know,
you
but if
kidding
you're
me?
gonna, but at the end of the day, being racist is an individual choice. You know what I'm saying?
But if everybody's, dude, if somebody, if everything you turn on, if you turn on the radio, you turn on the TV, and all you ever hear is white people are coming to kill you, aren't you gonna fucking? You think that's not gonna tell you that's not gonna make you feel that way? If that's what you hear everywhere all the time,
They experienced it on a day-to-day basis.
okay. So when you see it you hear it.
But
You hear it.
we need to start getting to Q&A because we're getting
All
kind
right, we don't. I'm just saying we don't have a history of killing white people like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, you don't. I agree.
But we don't have a history of killing white folks. So what are they? We just look at like, why are they so scared of us? We don't run around just killing white folks and just like shooting.
Well, statistically, I mean, you have to understand that statistically speaking,
we kill each other.
You do, but you also are not you. I'm sorry, that's fucked up for me to say it that way.
Nah, but I keep going.
African Americans make up 12% of the population. They're responsible for almost 50% of violent crimes. Statistically speaking, you want to know why white folks are scared? That's why. Am I still there?
I hear you. I'm just processing that because we just finished talking about how they just police us way differently, and that's why we're responsible for 50% of the crimes.
Which is why now all I'm saying.
But if they police everything the same way, all of skill,
I'll agree with that. I'll agree that changing up the policing style.
I know some bad white boys. Something that I wouldn't want to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? I know some bad white boys. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, yeah, I mean, bad men come in all sizes, shapes, and colors.
Bad motherfucker. Yeah, exactly. I was just saying.
So, all right, you know what? Let's put a halt on this. I love that we can talk about this stuff.
Exactly.
I wish we had more time.
I feel I really, what would be a dope show? I'm sorry, dude. Last little thought. You need like a racist motherfucker from the KKK. You need like a black power motherfucker. You need like an Asian. You need like a regular white boy. You need a nigga from the street, and they could be all just sit at the table and just talk.
That would be great. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
Fucking dope. And everybody just talk their piece. I don't want to hear these people in suits talking shit. I want to hear real people at the table with real feelings, really in the field,
police officers. I want to have some firefighters at the table. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's really going on? That'd be a dope show.
I fucking agree. I totally agree. All right, let's. We got some questions. Let's do these questions.
All right. So we have 2 questions that we always ask all of our guests, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
So
go ahead, Adam.
First one. What is your favorite dinosaur?
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Right on, brother.
All right. And the second one is, can you say "The South will rise again" in a Southern accent?
No.
That's the best answer ever. You know what? That motherfucker gets away with that one.
Yeah, he does. I can't even say anything. Like, I'm like, there's some context. There's some unintentional context there.
For real.
But I'm like, I'm gonna ask it because it's tradition at this point.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful answer. No. You know what? That needs to be a clip. That's a teaser trailer for the fucking show right there.
Okay. So Jack asks, best pimpin' West Coast MCs, DJ Quick or Too Short?
Sugar Free.
I knew you were going to say that. I fucking knew you were going to say that.
But I out of those two, Too Short.
All right. Nicole asks, how many women have you had working with you at one time?
Like the most?
Yeah, like the most amount.
Yeah.
4.
Damn. Is that hard? Like, does it
Yeah,
become
but
exponentially?
it never stays like that, though.
But what I mean is, like, is it harder to have to pimp just one girl as opposed to 4? Like, does it get exponentially more complex and difficult? You got 4 different people, 4 different sets of problems.
Not really. If it goes the way it's supposed to, it's like it's not really supposed to be hard like that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you: is pimping easy?
No, but it's not.
Can't even say the catchphrase.
Real quick.
All right.
Jack asks, what happens when their breath smells like a sewer? Would you still kiss them? I would never kiss a woman with cock breath.
A number 2, please.
I don't kiss.
Yeah.
I haven't kissed in years.
With a number 2. With
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that like because that's an intimate thing? Like that's something you do with somebody you care about feelings wise?
Barbecue.
Yeah, and I just don't. That's just not.
It's not something you're into?
Yeah, it's just not something.
You're ordering food right now, ain't you?
I'm not, but yeah.
All right, so I thought maybe you needed a minute.
Yeah, he's coming through a little quiet.
I'm sorry. Yeah. But what's the next? I'm sorry. What's the next person? I'm sorry, bro.
Why don't you kiss?
Yeah. Here, I'll put it.
Because I just I don't know. That's like some boyfriend and girlfriend stuff, you know.
And that's not all right. That's it's about intimacy. It's you that's something you do with somebody you feel a certain kind of way about.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I can dig it.
Okay. All right. TC Boggs 75 asks, what is normal cut in the money between you and the girls?
Well, I handle it all. Yeah, but I mean I couldn't even really tell you because she just get whatever she wants, really.
So it's not so much it's not like a paycheck as much as it is she makes the money, you handle the money, and then she asks you for things, and then you just pay for them.
Yeah, exactly.
So how much of that money would you say gets spent on them in the end?
Sometimes all of it. Sometimes, it just depends. It just depends on what she needs, what I need. It just.
I remember you turning around and spending like a whole night's worth of money, turning around and spending it all on like getting her wigs and clothes and
that's what I'm saying.
Fucking shoes.
It just depends on how much work you gotta, you know how much work you might get some girl that need a lot of work. You gotta put some money on them. Some girls you might not need, you know, to do as much, but you always gonna have to do something. I'm grabbing this McDonald's.
Can I have sweet and sour?
Yeah, funny.
Did we finish the question?
Mouth is a disgusting place, Alazan. I heard that. Hey, but like one thing, like pimps that like deal with, they're not even pimps that if you deal with like minors, like anybody underage, bro, like, that's out. We don't do none of that shit. If you're not over 18, if you're not over 18, that's you off. You know, off limits. If it ain't right, leave it on the tree. You know what I'm saying?
That does actually lead us to another question that Allison asks. What is the youngest female you've ever had working for you?
19.
19.
I ain't never dealt with no minor. Never will. Yeah.
Have you ever seen pimps who did?
Yes.
How does the pimp community treat that? Do the majority of other pimps not care, or are they?
If anybody finds out, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a minor, we automatically on your head. You can't be around us. You can't have her.
So
around.
you like oust them?
Even like other hoes will be on her head, like, because they'll make it hot. It's not even about that. It's that they make police come around. You know, like
yeah. It makes it
bad for
more
business.
risky.
It's bad for business. Them being
that
around,
makes sense.
As soon as they get caught on the track,
everybody else is going.
Now it's hot. Now they like, okay, it might be more minors here, but then now they're taking everybody to jail.
Yeah.
So
you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't make this harder for us than it already is.
Them being in the mix at all is bad for business. That's why you hear about them getting caught in motels and weird places. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like being out and about.
Right. You're saying you don't hear about 16-year-olds on the street corners.
You catch them with pedophiles and fucking. We're not calling parents pedophiles, really.
That makes sense.
So you know what I'm saying? So them you can take all of them. Yeah.
You can take. Go ahead and take them.
You know, if she's over 18 and willing and consenting, I see why you give them a fucking 20, 30 years because she got mad and ran off. You know what I'm saying? Now that she want to put all this other time that she spent with you, you gotta do time for that shit. You know, like when she wasn't mad, and y'all was spending money together and paying bills and shit. But you get mad.
That makes sense.
You get mad over some other shit. Now you gone forever. You know.
What other questions we got?
Chad the Saxon asks, does a pimp have to call a tranny by their preferred pronoun?
Oh, what? Oh, what? Tranny? Oh, wow.
Do pimps deal with that? Do pimps
hell no. No.
You're not pimping out no dude in a dress?
Never.
Wait, so what happened? I mean, it's not like there aren't... Obviously, there's tranny hookers, right? Like, there's...
They probably got
chicks with deal with them. Dudes with tits and shit. Like, who's? Are they getting pimped out?
That's a whole nother world, brother.
That's a separate entity, huh? Like you don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother world. That ain't got nothing to do with no pimps at all.
Oh wow! So you don't know you don't know nothing about.
If we ever, oh my gosh, that would be the talk of town. that would make like you. Hey, if you guys want to check out a popular YouTube pimp he's more eloquent speaking than I am. His name is Sinful the P. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him.
What's his name?
Sinful the P. SINFUL the P. THEP. He's on YouTube. He got plenty of videos. I would suggest if you were gonna watch one, Give Her a Reason. That's the name.
Give Her a Reason.
Yeah, one of his videos. He just talks. He doesn't rap. He doesn't do none of that.
Right. He's just talking game.
Yeah, he's talking. He's churching. Talking game, exactly. And, check one of them guys out, man.
All right.
You know, you get a little understanding. Curious.
I think that's funny. So hold on. have you ever heard of a pimp who was pimping out a fucking tranny?
Never.
That's crazy.
Never. And if I find out, we gonna all.
If you find out what?
I'm gonna bring. If I find out, we gonna all know every pimp in LA and maybe in the country, because as soon as I find out, yeah, that's what we do. Pimps, we let it talk shit. That's what we do. Because we don't we don't fight. We don't fight. We about the mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Yeah, we talk shit. We talk about your shoes, your ugly ass car, your ugly ass broad. You know what I'm saying? Why you bring these linebackers to the track, man? You know what I'm saying? We talk all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all we do. Talk shit.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't got no clean shoes on, what is you out here doing? She selling all that pussy for what, man? You know what I'm saying? You out here. You know, we get to talking shit, man. You know, it's like that. But other than that, man, we not out here hurting anybody. We might be in a circle at Denny's somewhere because you stay open 24 hours. Like, we might catch some pimps in the parking lot somewhere. That's where we like to congregate and talk shit. And that's it. Smoke some weed, and ain't hurt nobody.
All right. Well, Adam, you got another question?
Yeah. Nicole asks, have you ever had one of your girls hurt by a John, and if so, what happened?
Oh man, I got a couple of those, man.
Yeah.
I had this one girl. Yeah. What happened? Do you remember? Because I've had quite a few.
The one I remember was
since 2011.
We were out. This was in Orange County, and what's her name called? The girl we were talking about before, the one that said she wants to come back to you.
Yeah.
So I guess she was out on the blade, and somebody picked her up and took her in a truck. I think it was a Mexican dude, right? Some chubby Mexican dude. And she called us.
I ain't gonna lie, that's when Donald. Okay, look, I don't really say that racist, but most of the time when my girls get raped, it's by a Latino.
Is that right?
Yeah, always. And
God, I wanted to talk. I wanted to bring up the black and Latino issue too, because there's like racial tensions between you two groups too.
Yeah, that's old though. That's
yeah, but now it's being highlighted because at least here in California, because of the whole you've got the
the white
sanctuary laws.
The whites and the Mexicans run together in prison. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. They work together more than.
So it's like it's the really.
How can you call yourself an Aryan? Like you're all about the whites, but it's okay to fucking chill with the Latino. Really?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny too? That the Native Americans, they run with the whites too.
What the fuck?
That's hilarious. That's what's funny.
Didn't they keep? Are you gonna run with the people who?
When I got to prison, I was so cool. You guys went with. I'm thinking like you're Indian, like you're a fucking the whites. You have a grudge or something, like It's like nah, we
all the people that hold grudges.
It's really yeah, exactly. Like okay, the blacks are mad, I understand, but y'all, goddamn, like whatever.
Like.
Like you got slavery for you guys and then genocide for them.
Exactly. It wasn't really our country though. This was your country. How y'all feel? That's and then y'all run with them. That threw me off, and then the Mexicans running with the whites threw me off, and the Mexicans, kind of run everything. That whole side. The only thing that the Mexicans don't run is the blacks. The niggas don't listen.
That's
to nobody.
Crazy.
We don't listen to each other. We don't listen. We don't listen to nobody. So. It's everybody in prison versus the blacks, basically.
That's crazy, dude.
So that's basically how we look at it. I look at it as like prison politics is same as world politics. It's on a bigger scale. It's a little friendlier, a little more.
Jesus.
They do it with a white glove. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, but we want this. I guess people want the same thing. This is our little neighborhood. It's our side. It's our table. You know what I'm saying? These are our tables. It's our phone. It's like the same shit. This Beverly Hills, this the ghetto, this Watts, this Bel Air, and then we got places where we meet up together in San Fernando Valley, together.
Right.
North Hollywood somewhere.
Well, to finish up that story, like she called.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sidetracked, bro. I'm smoking weed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think
This
Josh
is
got
not
kicked
I
productive.
think
too.
you
This
got
is
kicked
not
mid
productive.
sentence.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, man, I had some a couple things happen to some girls. Man, I had one girl in Pomona, man. That, I was in Pomona, and regular day. I had two girls working for me at the time, and I had one girl get back in the car, and she was like, "Oh, where's the other girl?" She's saying her name.
All right.
I said, "Okay, well, let's call her. Where is she? Oh, it's time to go." How much she gave me her money that she made, and I went on this other girl, and we finally get a call, and she's panicked, and I hear the panic in her voice, but she's not talking to me. She's talking to the other girl, and then she's on speaker. So I hear what happened. I guess a truck pulled up on her and told her that he had $60, whatever. She got in, and he gave her the money, and when took her to an alley somewhere, and then she was like, "Don't come right here. Go somewhere else." And he wasn't listening. That should have been a red flag number one. She should have got out the car. And anyway, pulled over in the alley and raped her, and just left her naked in the alley. And
Fuck.
Jesus.
picked her up naked, and she actually, that was the end of it for her. She stopped. I
Yeah.
respected that, and I couldn't say nothing about that. I felt horrible that I even took her out there that night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, that shit, like, you don't want nothing to happen to your girl. They're on your team. It's like we're a team.
Right.
We come as a unit. It's not like me
You're
versus
like a
them, or
team. You're like
I'm not
friends.
trying. I'm not against it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're just trafficking girls and you're just working them all day and not giving them shit. We're not giving no food. We not care. We don't care about them. Nah, when she goes to jail, you don't got nothing happen there. If something goes, she go to jail, you feel it like, damn, okay, like, let me go bail her out. Let me go, at least if I can't bail her out, let me go make sure she got minutes on the phone. She could call her mama, or she could call her daughter, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
some
No,
shit. We're a unit. So if anything happens to her, so I felt that, like, oh, like, so I took her home. I dropped her back off at home. And she uh to this day, she's doing well. She got kids and a husband and all that. It just wasn't for her.
Yeah.
But some of these girls, man, I done met some tough girls. Like, some shit like that happen. They just dust it off and go right back, and it ain't nothing. Like,
That's
Wow.
crazy.
they're just glad that they didn't get killed, and like, he didn't.
Yeah.
At least he let me use a condom. Like, he didn't do it
Yeah.
with no condom. Like, they're worried about shit like that, and I'm like, damn, girl, man, some of these girls are braver than I am.
Right.
Honestly, like, you could stand on the corner, get in a car with a stranger, some shit like that happen to you, you dust it off and go back.
Yeah, that's
That's
amazing.
crazy. that's one tough cookie right there.
But a lot of that shit though comes from these girls not having no stability either. Like, a lot of these girls are in motels, and living in a hotel and gotta pay room every night. They ain't got no choice. Shit, they ain't
Right.
got that hotel money yet. They ain't got, and even if they got room money, shit, she gotta eat. She might have a
Yeah, you
car.
gotta live.
You gotta put gas in the car. Shit, she want to smoke some weed. Shit, she get hungry again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, it's that, and then you get caught, you go to jail, now you got to pay fines. It's just hard to get out sometimes. And I
Yeah.
understand, you know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
that's why sometimes we're here. Those girls be doing it by themselves. They don't got nobody. The police not gonna sit out there with you all night and make sure you're okay. Who else gonna do it? Don't nobody else want to make you their wife, or you know what I'm saying? Because you're in this life, and he don't understand. You know what I'm saying? It's like with peanut butter and jelly, we go together. We a team. We, like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
It's just what it
you.
is.
You make a compelling argument for that. I've never heard it put that way.
Yeah,
No,
it
the way
just
you describe it, it is obviously a true partnership, and it's nothing like I've ever seen it portrayed as. So
exactly. So
yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't get that part though. You just get,
no,
oh, this guy had 3 girls working for him. They got caught in a prostitution sting, but they don't know that she got kids. You know what I'm saying? He he paying for daycare and all type of shit. And these other girls that one might be new, you know what I'm saying? She might be a weirdo, but the other one, we might be had two solid girls that's really down for you. Y'all might be really working on something. And some other girl, random girl, comes in and just destroys everything because she can't get what you guys got. Or it's a whole bunch of shit that goes on there, but you just hear that part, but you don't hear the part about the struggle.
It's like a soap opera.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like real shit. Like I wish I could make a movie about this shit, like a real movie, or you know what I'm saying, like the real side. You know, I could get the bad pimps in the movie, like the gorilla pimps. I could get that part. And I could get a part like the main story, like about the guy who just want to get out the game. You know what
that
I'm saying?
needs to be done, like a documentary that actually shows not only the bad shit, but what's
we're
normal,
gonna show the
what's
bad
actually
shit
happening.
too, because that shit really happens. You know, we're gonna show that shit too, and then man, I'm telling you, like I would love to do like that. That would be crazy. But
Adam, do we have other questions, man?
Yes. Let's see. Sorry, I'm having a side conversation in chat with Metalface. Let's see. I already asked that. Scott asks, are white guys called honkies because they used to pull up to hooker areas and honk their horns?
You broke out at the last.
Yeah,
white guys called honkies.
I thought I got cut. I thought it was me.
Oh, okay. I'll say it again.
White
guys called honkies because they used to pull up to hooker areas and honk their horns?
That's what I heard.
Is that right? I didn't know
I'm not
that.
sure. I heard George Jefferson on the Jefferson say that they used to always honk at black people to tell them get out the way. I don't know, but I don't know. That's just what I heard on the Jefferson. I don't know.
That's a trip. I wonder. That's the first time I'd ever heard that.
I really don't know. I know why they call them crackers, but I don't know why they call them honky.
Yeah, that's the whip.
Yeah, the whip crackers. That's why. But I don't know about that. I'm not into like, you know, like hateful racism like that shit. I just, like I said, I just say funny shit sometimes. I talk about black people too. I talk about
right. So, what else we got, Adam?
All right. TC Boggs asks, with Backpage being shut down, is there a website you prefer?
Man, that's the secret, man. I might have to charge him for that, man. You know, now there's a couple, man. I'm gonna see, but I see. That's what I'm saying. I charge for this type of stuff, though. You know what I'm saying? So he might have to hit me in the DM.
Wait. So explain that. Like, do people have to pay you to get to know what the website is?
I have knowledge that people just don't have. It's not common.
Right.
It's a trade secret, man.
That's what I'm saying. This is why I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I get not only for the websites that I know, because even if she website, it's that I just, you know, that's just part of it. Like, and if
that's a chargeable thing. Like, if somebody wants to know what website to go to,
if somebody's listening right now, say there's some girl or whatever that didn't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she can just go run off and do her thing, and what if something happened to her? You know what I'm saying? Like, she not under no instruction. She not under no instructions. You know what I'm saying? She don't have nobody there with her or to set her and this how you do this or this happen. You know, she don't have that, and she just want to get on the website. Come on, man. You know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's all of that too. So
I guess the safest way to answer that question is yes.
But you can just
websites.
Google it though. You can Google your city, you know, and say and escorts, and then see what website pops up, and that's the one popping in your area.
There you go.
That's some game for you right there. There you go, right there.
All right. What else we got, Adam?
I think that's about it.
Any questions related?
There were a few really silly questions that I couldn't tell if they were necessarily directed at you or more just like rhetorical questions for chat.
Okay,
I'll take them. I don't care. I'm hard to
Did Chad the Saxon asks, did Birdman really rape Lil Wayne and all the Cash Money dudes?
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Hey, man, rape? I don't know. You can't rape somebody willing, bro. I don't know. You seen Lil Wayne on the picture with Birdman. They both kissing.
You know
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's an old picture, man. Like, shout out to Wayne, man. You know this, but it's just facts is facts, man. He kissed Birdman on the mouth and shit. So it's crazy. But yeah, it's a real picture. I heard it's a rumor that the camera guy who took that picture got killed.
Oh shit.
Wait. So there's a picture of Lil Wayne and some other dude, and they're kissing, and the guy who took the picture is dead.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That the dude that took that picture is dead. So
Is it so?
You get kicked. Hello.
What do you say?
I'll do it right now.
Okay. You all cut out.
Oh, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. That might have been me cutting out. I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah, I
I
think
got
it
a
was.
question. What you think about Eminem's Kamikaze and all this new
I don't think
fucking
nobody could fuck with Eminem. And when he's really at it on his shit like that, come on, y'all better leave
Did
that
you
boy
hear?
alone.
You heard that shit?
Y'all better, yeah, hell yeah, big. Eminem's
Oh,
a
you know what
monster.
though? I gotta say though, I didn't even fucking know about Machine Gun Kelly until after he dropped his response. What is it,
Machine
Rap
Gun Kelly's
Devil?
cool, but he's not on the godly like
No,
Eminem's
but
on
that
God
fucking
level
diss
rap.
track was solid. He made some good points in that fucking track.
Yeah, but he didn't have no wordplay like Eminem. So you can't play with that.
No, he's skills.
Eminem's like
He's
Eminem's a
skills.
wordsmith. Eminem's a wordsmith. Like he's like coming from the gods to play with these kids. Like he came down from the heavens to play with these children. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Like, come on, man, that's Eminem. You gotta
But
respect the man.
I love.
But
Well,
you
that's what I
gotta
loved about
respect the
Machine
new.
Gun
It's like
Kelly's.
new generation versus the old generation. That's kind of
Yeah.
like.
See,
Only
that's the
thing
one
Kelly could do is call him old and shit. Like you can't say he can't rap. You can say one bar about him not being able to rap.
Well, and he even admits he's like, yeah, you're the greatest of all time. And then he says he's like, can some of us get some food in their mouth? Like that
Man,
was
Machine Gun Kelly need to say thank you for getting this.
Can you imagine if there was a diss track? If he put out a diss track where you had like 30 seconds of intro music, and then he just goes, "Yo, thank you," and then
I would like to thank you for the diss, and here's my response. Yeah, that's how
for
you
real.
should.
That's fucking hilarious.
Getting even acknowledged by him, like dope.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, who was it? He talked about Hobson. You know who Hobson is?
Hobson's, yeah, he's cool. He's like one of them artists. I don't really listen to him though, but I just he's one of those artists that you don't listen to, but you just kind of like respect him as a lyricist because you know he's.
He's
you know
fucking.
What I'm saying?
He's
like
got
kind of like KRS-One. Like KRS-One's a dope lyricist, but like you don't go run around playing KRS-One like. You just respect them as like LL Cool J. You like respect them as they artist, but I don't just.
You're not listening to LL Cool J?
Nah,
Pete
not
Buildings
today.
in a plastic bag?
Not today.
Being crushed by a building? Not today.
Nah, I ain't feeling it right now.
Oh my god. I don't like this mumble rap, man. I don't know if that's because I'm just old.
You just don't listen. You can't listen fast enough. I think that's you're not listening. You gotta listen.
It's not that I can't listen. It's not. Yeah, it's not fast. It's just.
It's just slurred and incoherent.
And there's a repetitiveness to it.
That's just it's a new style of rap, and then like they got different variations of it. Like some of them is whack. Yeah, you're right. But some of them, there's like few artists that are pretty dope if you listen to what they're talking about.
So if you, all right, how about this for a question? If
and
somebody isn't really
relate.
into, huh?
You kind of gotta mumble
relate.
Rap. They're talking about certain shit. Like. If you in that life, you just like that type of shit. Certain rap, I just can't listen. I don't listen to all that shit. I can't listen. It's like you killed 30 people in one verse, bro. I just can't listen to that shit anymore. I gotta wait till
who?
Just any rappers like certain rappers like they just kill 30 people in one verse, one song, shoot them up, bang bang. I can't listen to that shit early in the morning. I gotta wait till like 2 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Just do that shit. And I could do that when I'm feeling like that for a few minutes. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not into that type of rap like that no more.
Yeah,
I like more rap that they talk about getting money and shit. That's the rap. They talk about getting
that's
money,
what speaks to
doing
you.
fly shit. Yeah, that's the type of rap.
That's funny. All right, Adam, do we have any more questions?
I think that we're pretty much out.
All right.
Nicole had one more real quick.
Sure.
Go
She
for
wanted
it.
what the most amount money you've made in a single night.
Ooh.
5,000.
Are you fucking
was
kidding me?
shit.
You made
That was-
$5,000 in a night?
Yeah, but that was because she stole some money.
I made $5,000, but it was because she stole some money.
How much of that was actually earned?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
You're the one managing the money. You didn't ask where it came from?
I manage it when it got.
When you, I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. Like I don't know how much is it. We're not keeping a ledger. There's no books to be had. Like this is how much she gave me, so that's how much was earned.
All right. I mean, whatever.
There's no fucking there's no bookkeeping in fucking pimping.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't expect that.
Don't want to know.
You don't have like your own accountant or anything, you know.
I don't think it's. I don't think that would be a good idea.
No, I don't think it would.
Obviously not.
No, not at all.
So, what kind of girls make the most money?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I do, but I want to hear you say it.
Motivated girl.
nice sidestep. Nice fucking sidestep.
Yeah.
The thicker ones make more money, right?
I mean, it just depends, man. Can't just say one type. But I guess typically you would say a white girl or anybody that ain't black, really.
What do they call them? They call them snow
The
bunnies.
game is hella racist, bro. Like we call black girls ducks.
Well, you call them what? Dutch?
Ducks, like a quack quack duck.
Why do you call black girls ducks?
Man, that's just part of the game, man. That's just like.
But like,
they say dark hoes bring dark days. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't like no.
Dark hoes breed dark days. But why do they call them ducks?
Man, could they just be sitting ducks, man? They're not getting picked up. They just sitting ducks.
They be sitting ducks. Yeah. Holy shit, dude! This is fucking hilarious. Oh my god. So what do you call Latino girls?
Hey,
you got a name for them?
Nah, that's it. Just
Latinas, mallards.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, snow bunnies.
Mallards.
I guess, but Latinas.
That's so funny. Sitting ducks. God damn it. God damn it. That's fucking hilarious. So,
hey, I'm gonna have to wrap this up in a little bit, though.
You know what? We're actually we're gonna have to go too. We have run right past showtime and right into afters, and we've done about a half an hour already. So
yeah, we normally end everything around this time. So Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, it was such a good show. We wanted to keep going.
You guys play Fortnite? No.
Yeah.
You play Fortnite, bro?
I have from time to time.
All right, we got to squad up then, bro, for sure.
Yeah, for real, man.
What platform?
I play on PS4.
Okay.
Oh, I'm PC.
You play on? That's what I'm getting my gaming PC soon when I get back.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
I'm gonna get it. That's like $600.
Well, very cool.
So
you gotta let me know when you. Fuck yeah, man! Let me know when you get yours.
Yeah. And when I get it, man, you guys PC players have it way better. It's way easier to aim.
That we do.
It's way easier to aim. So come on, but I still smash stuff. I get in there. I can still run with you guys. I can still get like 5 kills, 8 kills, maybe.
I'm back. Hello?
We didn't even know you were gone.
That was one of the few well-timed ones.
Yeah.
Yay!
So I guess we go ahead.
I think
I
that was like
said
your first
anything,
one
I could've
tonight.
just-
Yeah.
All the other ones have been atrocious.
I know.
Atrocious.
Just fucking wrong as shit. So, all right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go because I know you're starting early tomorrow and everything.
Yes,
Gee,
sir.
I really want to thank you so much. Maybe in a month or so, would you be willing to come back on the show?
Cool. Yeah, I'll come back and yeah.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back again.
Yeah.
Thanks
sure.
so much. G.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. I'll catch you later.
Thanks, G.
All right, man. You take
Have a good
care.
night.
Bye.
All right, everybody. We're gonna skip afters because we just did it.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna call it a night. Thank you to everyone who listened, who tuned in. Thank you to my co-hosts, Adam, Joel, Nicole, Sativa. I don't think Mac is here.
Nah.
He had to work.
And we that's the end of our show. That's all the time we have. So thank you for listening, and good evening, and go home.